In ancient history, a war between the newly created races of Toril and the forces of Hell left humanity nearly extinct. In the post-cataclysmic world, humans placed themselves above all others, while races deemed undesirable watched from below. Ferox, a newly created race intertwined with beast and elf, were regarded to be even more monstrous and were forced into servitude. During the war, the gods and goddesses gifted unique arcane artifacts to those fighting against the Hells. These items turned the tides of war and brought forth brand new schools of magic in the form of the mage class. Alas, magic and hope fade from a world on the brink of destruction. Our hope now lends itself to a select and unlucky few.
I can hear.
Oh, hello, yoo-hoo, big summer blowout.
Yep, there we go.
Oh, I hated that.
I'm gonna do that.
Sorry.
randomly.
I just had to listen to my own voice for a second, and so now that I've overcome that feeling of depression, hi,
It's a
welcome
very good impression.
to our Saturday night extravaganza.
Okay.
That too.
Hard cut.
Everyone do it.
All right, let's All right. So, hi, welcome to the Unlucky Few. We're a D&D 5e streaming group, and we're gonna have a good time tonight.
No, we're not. To one of those things.
We're not playing 5e.
All right, everybody, roll a Pathfinder, second edition.
No, that's second.
All right.
We're playing the feud.
Oh man, we're not gonna get anything done tonight.
That's okay.
So anyway, thank you for tuning in. We are the Unlucky Few. We are ready to come at you with another super fun episode. We'll start off with some combat, then move into some dungeon delving. It'll be a good time. So announcements before we start. As always, we will be coming at you live next Saturday as well. Nothing coming up. Keep an eye out for bonus streams coming up soon. We'll have some extra content on the way fairly shortly. Aside from that, all of our social media stuff is down in the description of the video. And last but not least, as always, this video will be up on our YouTube channel, www.youtube.com/toughdnd, Wednesday, 7 p.m.
Nailed it.
Let's see. Pat text Ellie. Maddie's tech. Maddie's hair is not blonde anymore.
Finally.
And other than that, I don't think I have any other announcements to make. Anybody? Anybody got anything?
Nope.
Excellent. In that case,
I'll
we'll move
pull back on the
directly.
jokes.
I prefer having happy hair.
We'll move directly into our recap then.
What does that mean?
Look
I
at happy
look at it
comment.
and I get happy.
So,
So,
where we last left off, the party decided to move on with Melanthe's plan of heading down southward to the ruins that other members of the party had previously dreamt about. And after gathering up any supplies that they needed, the party headed southbound down the Sword Coast. They made a brief detour on the way, stopping off at the Cloud Peak Mountains, particularly the Cloud Peak Monastery, to drop off Howler and Lumina, where the party witnessed a very awkward interaction between Lumina and Lucian, not before being assaulted by gnolls and successfully fending them off, though. Also on the way, the party encountered things such as merchant caravans that they were able to buy a few things from. Some people got some ribbons.
Oh yeah, we got sand outfits too.
we also met our Storm Ganassi.
Yes, T was able to meet another Storm Ganassi. they were able to provide colorful ribbons to Arwen, Kai, and also some extra ribbon for Riv. That is correct. A shooting star was encountered with Lucian, Syl, and Fen all making wishes that may or may not come true.
Or may or not bite us in the
yes.
ass.
You guys did not hear what Lucian wished for, but Fen wished for.
Wish we could all be friends forever.
And Syl, you wished for.
Whatever was affecting his mother would no longer be in effect.
And what will happen with that will remain to be seen, though if all goes well, Fen's wish will be realized by the end of this session.
Make it sound like a bad thing, guys.
And so, the other thing that encountered was two rangers, part of a rangers guild that you had met before, Aurette, as well as Devereaux, who upon meeting up with you guys one night and some drinks together, all of you but Syl were around to hear that they were actually related to someone you had befriended. They were actually the little brother and little sister of your friend Rax. They gave a few cryptic answers about why they were traveling and why they were doing the things that they were doing, and proceeded to leave in the morning, heading the opposite way as you guys. As you went on your last day of travel, you came upon the entrance to the ruins, and just outside of them you saw four of your friends from the academy, who, three of them you know that are prefects, one of them being Syl's companion Rare, being assaulted by giant scorpions. And so as you witness this happening, they all kind of get into a huddled formation, looking to try and drive the three of them remaining off after they had already brought down one of them. That is where we will pick up with tonight's session. So, as all of you can kind of see, some 60 or 70 feet down this hill, the three giant scorpions are all starting to move in a way that is sort of surrounding the small group of mages.
I didn't think you were actually there yet, because it's not 60 or 70 feet away, or are we?
You are about 60 or 70 feet away.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there we go. But yeah, you all rush up to there, and at this point you kind of, who is that there? That is, there's Knight, there's Aqua, there's Rare, there's Gab. Rare is the one closest to you that's sort of facing you, and as she sees you, she kind of gives like a very frantic sort of wave at you guys. As you also see smaller scorpions, maybe about 6 or 7 inches long, also begin to scurry up out of the sand and sort of help kind of fill in some of the gaps. They don't look near as hardy or intimidating as the larger ones do, but there's 3 and then 3 more and then 3 more. There's a fairly decent sized group of them that are sort of surrounding the 4 mages.
I didn't realize that I was on route.
You are?
I thought you did that, but it was Liz.
That was
I
me.
didn't even get bored.
Yes. And so as you guys kind of get close enough to sort of begin to hear the din of combat, before we roll for initiative, you would just hear a very frantic Gab just kind of looking around, sort of panicked. Guys, do you can we actually take this many of them? Knight kind of gives like a look around, especially after seeing the small ones sort of come up, and it's about 10, 20, 30, 40 small scorpions, just kind of like looks around and goes, well, you know, if one more shows up, we might be in trouble.
And that's when Finn transform into the scorpion.
And with that, we are going to...
It took a moment for my wheels to get there.
I rolled for initiative.
We're going to roll for initiative.
And then all I saw was like scorpion arm, like tail coming out
Natural
of the back,
one.
and then Fen having
Excellent.
this stroke in the face.
Oh, hell yeah.
I just love how I saw like the wheels spin in place for a moment and then
Yeah.
Don't worry,
Uh,
I'll great.
Yeah.
Check my dice.
Anyway,
See
so...
in your hand.
Where?
So, initiative. Everybody rolled, right?
Yes.
Cool,
Yes.
25 to 20.
I got 21. I got 22.
Oh, that's okay. I was like, she got 21.
20 to 15.
Great, guys. Thanks for joining us.
15 to 10.
11.
You are lower than me?
7.
10 to 5. 5. What did you roll?
4.
Harlan, what'd you roll?
We're dead.
Natural one.
We're dead.
Plus your initiative.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna be alive.
5.
Excellent. Still not last.
But natural one. I thought.
Doesn't
that
no.
was just-
No,
You
that's
cannot.
only for, like,
I was going to say
attacks.
you cannot nat 1 or nat 20 a initiative roll. It's always plus your dex. Technically speaking,
Nat 20. Go for it.
rules is written. The only
Oh.
thing that you can actually crit on are attacks, and that's for critical successes and failures. Nothing else. Crit rolls technically do not apply.
What about that
Yeah, if you do it
saving
for
throws?
skill checks, it's like homebrew.
Death
Some
saving
people
throws
like
too, yeah.
it. Some people get really mad, as I found out. Some people get
Yeah.
real mad.
I mean,
I think
honestly,
it's
I was
just
to say my personal opinion is like I'm always gonna go like if it's possible to be succeeded on, then like I'll allow it to happen. But if you're like I want to jump to the moon, nat 20, it's like
Yeah, right.
cool, you jump up real high, but you're not on the moon because that's goddamn impossible.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You take it by like.
Yeah, I
By
have
ear.
to say yeah. That's why I like the fucking meme. That's like the person about to catch the ball. It's like nat 20 on my skill check, and then like the person with like the tentacles wrapped behind them is just like, what's the total roll? But regardless, starting combat. Hey, guess who's up first?
Me?
It's T.
Wow.
With 40 feet, I can make it to here, and I'm going to lay into this one.
Do your thing.
Oh, hell yeah.
It's a
Oh, hell yeah,
natural
bro.
14. So over 20.
That'll hit.
Okay.
That's how we count. Over under 20.
To say these things have some pretty thick armor, which makes them a little harder to penetrate. I was waiting for the jokes.
No, we're
We're
serious.
actually serious for
Um,
once.
10 damage.
Cool.
It's all
Mark
good
that
in my
down.
head, though.
Yeah.
But they are rather large, which makes it easy to get a hold of them.
It's over 20 again.
Roll for damage.
11.
All right.
Keep going.
Bada bing, bada boom.
I'm gonna bonus action flurry of blows. So can I roll both of them at the same time?
Sure, absolutely, go for it.
I doubt you're gonna
No.
kill it in one go.
Almost.
Unless.
One of them's over 20 again. The other
What?
one is 17.
They both hit.
My dose is too good.
Fist damage.
Really good fist damage.
Making it too easy.
18.
I saw
Made joke.
I
18.
was I saw the first one was a 6. I was like,
18 from the 18 from both of them.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, 18 from one punch. Hold up. Okay, no, that makes sense. He's definitely feeling the impact from that as you lay into him, and he's pretty bloody, but he's still standing.
Yeah. I'll just end my turn there.
Excellent.
hoping that I've drawn at least that one's attention away from the 4.
All right, cool. Bringing us to Fendian.
Squishy spellcaster.
Well, hell yeah, guys.
The one that I'm standing
5,
next
10,
Oh.
20, 25, 30, 5, 10, 15, 20, 20. Ah, I can't get close enough. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, and then... Okay, so I'll use my full movement to get to whatever 30 feet is here, and then I'm going to use the charge on my weapon to bonus action Misty Step to the one that T's fighting.
Gotcha. That is your
And
bonus
then,
action.
for my action, I will cast Booming Blade and make a weapon attack with my Unchained on that guy.
Sounds good. Hold a hit.
And since I'm level 5, it automatically, if I hit, it automatically deals 1d8 extra.
Thunder
Thunder
damage.
damage.
Yes, go for it.
I don't think that's gonna hit.
never know.
Oh, sorry, I was almost out of my initiative. So, 13 to hit.
13 will not hit. You kind of you connect with it, but the plates on the sides of it are fairly thick, so you kind of just like cling right off of the side of it.
Because it's 15.
That's it. It
Arms are ringing.
kind of like turns to face you and T as it like clangs off of you, and you can kind of see it's already like a little unsteady from taking the damage that it has.
But that's all I can do. So that's the
Alright.
end of my turn.
All right, so that is going to move us to the one on the right, and it is going to it is going to attempt to get up in Gab's face. And it is going to make 3 attacks against her.
Oh shit.
Good thing we have a healer, Ben.
Yeah, bitch.
It's
I
bitch.
was gonna say it's this bitch.
Yeah.
Oh.
Alright,
Sorry. I forgot.
Alright, so it is first going to make 2 claw attacks. Oh, I don't know.
Names cost extra.
Yeah, this bitch.
Oh yeah, we have a healer. It's bitch. Who else?
I mean, you are kind of not you personally, but like if you're the only party healer, you're kind of like the bitch boy of the group. Oh my god! I'm gonna go run in and do this really stupid thing. No, please, I'm out of spell slots.
Alright, so that's going to
Be like that.
I feel like a parent when they hear their little like 3-year-old go, "Dad, watch this."
I got it. What do you have? A knife.
You just see your fighter go.
I'm like already taking out bandages.
Alright, so it misses with the 2 claw attacks, but it does connect with the stinger, doing 13 points of damage as Gab kind of stumbles back.
Is she now poisoned?
We're gonna see.
So that'll be the fucker we gotta deal with in this.
She succeeds on her Constitution saving throw.
I always ask this, but what's your AC?
And so she takes 10 extra poison damage only.
No. It's not possible.
Isn't it like 11?
Legitimately not possible.
What?
No.
What
Ash
is
asked Pat what his AC was, and he said 8.
I was like, that ain't right.
Your AC is 10 plus dex.
Yeah, so it's
That's
not
your base.
possible to
No, I know.
get
I'm
10.
like,
Do
Oh.
negative dex, which I think you just can't walk at that point.
No,
was
like, I don't
negative
even think it
armor
takes
when
it
we
down,
rolled
because
up
I think
against-
10's just the base, not even base.
Alright, cool. So that ends
Oh,
its
yeah.
turn because it's gonna stay right there. Next up is Gab's
You
turn.
have a negative modifier, it'd be 10 plus your
Mine's with
modifier.
armor.
So you had like.
But I guess at that point you would most definitely have some sort of armor, right? So you'd probably be like something that just jumps stat into strength.
Wait, Audie, what's your AC?
50.
I think you're the only one with below a 15 AC. Perhaps.
Alright.
Forgot how low it was.
We ready to continue on the battle?
Yeah, sorry, I wasn't
Cool.
trying to.
Yeah. Alright, so that is going to bring us to Gab's turn actually. Gab is going to this, if I'm not mistaken, is
Yeah, it's very broad.
just need to read something real quick. Alright, cool. Gab is going to use her bonus action to cast Healing Word on herself at a 2nd level, knowing that she should probably not go down.
She's too young.
Let's say she was already bloodied. That is going to bring her up by 10 hit points, which is good because that's how much she lost from the poison damage. You would notice being up this close, there is like a heavy poison dripping from the
Oof.
stinger. Yes.
Great, love it, so glad.
Glad we both ran right up to it.
You both had your doors, right?
Right after we fought my husband,
Alright,
who was also
and
turned
she's-
into mostly a scorpion.
And she is going to draw a
Yeah.
card, a Major Arcana card, which is the first time that any of you've seen this. As her focus kind of spins around, you're used to seeing like the switching like green and red cards around it that either deal damage or heal based on which one she grabs and throws. But she kind of shifts them all inside of it, and instead these bluish white sort of ethereal looking cards pop out as she accesses her Major Arcana, which is something she just learned how to do. She will draw a card, and she draws the Void. She draws the Void card, and you're able to see a card that has like this, the two of you at least are able to see this card that's about this big and has just like the picture of sort of like a black hole cosmic void in it that just seems to be slowly like devouring light around her. It sort of almost seems to bend reality. And she kind of like looks over her back and sees the two of you there. sees T and sees Fen. And sees Fen with like the huge sword. Knows that T typically hits shit pretty hard by herself. And she is going to play the Void card, and she's going to throw it over her shoulder at you, Fen. It sort of hits you in like the shoulder chest area, and as it does, you feel this dark sort of energy swirl around you and empower your arms until the end of her next turn. You get a +6 to all of your damage rolls.
In addition to what he already
Oh my god, that's
Yes.
great! I'm gonna
You do.
Hexblade curse this motherfucker.
Yeah, you do. You do because it is the biggest of this bonus. But yeah, you get every time you hit with an attack until the end of her next turn, you do 6 additional damage, and that is
I do.
necrotic damage. You do 6 additional necrotic damage on every hit. Alright, that will end her turn. Yeah.
Well, I don't have extra attack. I can just make like 2 attacks on 1 action.
Yeah. You didn't.
The Hexblade thing.
That's what I think.
When do you get what is it? Thirsting Blade?
Yes, I got Thirsting Blade, one with the shadows, and the one.
Doesn't
that lets
Thirsting
you-
Blade let you take an extra attack?
Yeah, well, it's not like I'm using my extra attack as my bonus action. I get to make 2 attacks
Yes.
with 1 action.
Yes.
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify.
Yeah. You get a plus if you hit it with both hits. You get +6 on both hits.
Oh.
It is like a +6 on every time you hit something and cause damage to it.
Can you not bonus action attack as well?
I don't
No.
think I can.
That's
No,
awful.
only with a light weapon.
Yeah, this is a big boy sword.
Yeah. All right. So yes. That is going to bring us to the scorpion that you guys were just beating the shit out of. It is going to take 2 claw attacks at UT and then its stinger attack at you, Fen.
Ooh.
All right, so the 2 claw attacks at you, T, are going to be one roll that's not very good and one roll that's a little better. That is an 11 to hit and an unnatural 20 to hit. That is going to be 10 points of bludgeoning damage, and you are considered grappled by the claw. It's sort of just like it doesn't let go.
Well, I'm out of this fight.
Nice.
You can attempt to break free on your turn, and also, obviously, if it dies, you are no longer grappled.
With
Well, until
grapple,
it
you
dies, I can't fight.
well, for grapple, at least you can do a strength or a dexterity check to get out.
Yes.
Can you do dex now?
I was going to say
You can
yes.
choose.
I
couldn't session 1.
Oh, maybe it was just forgotten. When you get grappled, you can choose to either do a whatchamacallit.
Session 1, I killed one thing because I was grappled by the first fucking
To be
thing,
fair,
and I couldn't get out of it.
I forgot that happened, and there was a whole thing with that.
I was going to say that
I'm
was
already
technically
tired.
that was because you were restrained, not grappled. Which there is a difference. But yes, grappled you can make either an athletics or an acrobatics check to get out of.
So you should be fine.
Yeah, you should be fine with acrobatics, honestly. The DC, I can tell you right now, the DC is not high. The stinger is going to come towards you, Fen.
Ooh.
That is going to be a 17 to hit versus armor class.
Reaction shield!
Does not hit.
Work off a spell slot.
Clangs off the shield.
I love how you use your rock spells mostly for shield.
It's a good fucking spell.
It is. Say you're just going to be in trouble with only having 2 spell slots if you guys ever have more
He
than
doesn't think about it.
like
before he
a
does.
longer
He
fight because it's just going to be like, well.
Hope you're a frontliner now.
All right, that is going to end its turn. Next up is Kai.
Wow.
I'm gonna do something I have somehow never done before and cover my own ass first. And cast what?
Nothing.
And I'm gonna cast Mage Armor on myself.
Are you running in?
What?
Are you running in?
Alright, so you cast Mage Armor on yourself. Your
Yeah.
AC becomes 13 plus Dex. So I believe that takes you to 14.
Oh shit, yeah. Well, better
Wow.
than nothing.
14 is better than 11.
Oh yeah, that's right. I thought it was 13.
No.
And then I
Also, because I'm making sure that I do this now,
Wow.
the shield gains hit points equal to the level of the spell cast, which is first, plus your con modifier. Yes. So what is your con modifier?
+3.
Plus 3. Alright, so your Shield of Glimmering Faith appears around you and currently has 4 hit points.
Nice. Wasn't it like 5 before?
There's ways that you can cast more things that make it grow even stronger. but I'm reading it right here. The shield
Mine
gains.
says level of spellcast plus wisdom because I'm a wisdom caster. I know I can't.
Oh fuck! You know what? You're right. I forgot. I didn't update this
I was
yet.
confused. Why
I was like, it's how I didn't go down.
Yes. So what is your con or what is your wisdom?
That's 5.
Okay, so yeah, it's 6. You get 6 hit points in your shield. Sorry. I'm just making sure that I have like everything pulled up in front of me now because we have not been doing the best in keeping track of when that actually pops up for you.
Yeah.
And I don't want you to get murdered because it's not up. So I'm having the rules up in front of me now.
What if we want to murder
Hey, DM tip, don't.
that? And I'm also
Don't
going
pull a
to.
Oh wow!
10, 16, 20, 25, 30. Move me like 40 feet. Like, I want to be like, you know.
Do you have 40
right
feet of
here.
movement?
Oh shit, no. I'm dumb.
Shit, just give me 40.
Am I making you bad?
Move for it. No, 50. No, move me 80 feet this way.
I'm tired. Shit.
It's okay.
Wow.
This is like 30 feet. Definitely. Listen, I got like 3 hours of sleep last night. We're trying.
10 feet for each hour.
Anything else?
No, that's it.
All right. Next up, it is going to be Lucian's turn.
I'm tired.
Move
I'm
Lucian
stupid.
60 feet towards the one that's attacking Gav currently.
Oh, sorry. It's 60.
Yeah. So he is going to get up there and not do anything because he's a fighter and they're boring.
He has a good personality.
Yeah.
What is that, kissing monks on the cheek? Got him?
Yeah, that's my favorite princess, sleeping good personality.
All right. So now it is the tiny scorpion's turn. So seeing how you two are the ones that are causing the most shit, they are going to attempt to make attacks against T and Fen, and I'm just going to have them move as swarms. No, tiny scorpions. These are the ones that I do not have minis for.
Swarm spin.
What is
Quick,
it?
throw a bunch of rice onto the board.
All right. Keep in mind this is going to be pretty rough. They do have a whole +2 to hit
Oh shit.
against T. That is, or against Fen rather.
You've
We'll do
done
Fen
pretty
first.
well with enemies before, though.
Yeah. And this is against
These
T.
little fucks get a 20 or higher to hit, I swear to god.
That is a natural 19, so a 21 against you, Fen.
I said at least 18 under my breath.
And against you, T, that is a 3+2, which is a 5 to hit.
Alright.
Is that gonna miss?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Fen. I don't even have to roll for this because they don't actually have anything to roll for their damage. That is a
Is it
1
one?
piercing damage.
Oh my god.
And you have to make me a Constitution saving throw. The DC is 9.
This is the real damage.
So I get +2 to con, so let's see, that's...
Oh no.
Okay, that's not bad. Wait. I thought that was a 7, not a 4, so I don't pass.
That's a 6.
Yeah.
You fail the DC 9
Oh,
I
con, bro.
like to imagine it like gets me right in my Achilles tendon, like on the heel. I'm like, ah!
And you take D. Nope, that's too big of a dice. You take 3 points of poison damage.
I just imagine you're like, shield Achilles tendon.
Exactly. My mom didn't dip me all the way in the river.
Woo!
It's
Nice.
like they
I was
start
at
with the
the
feet.
Your grandma only drowned you 3/4 of the way. She can get all the way there.
Like, this is for your own good, honey. I used a pair of tongs and grabbed just the heel.
That's how I pick up hot dogs off the rope. Just like the end, because I'm like, hi.
Up
like
next
drowning a
is
baby. Alright, I guess that's where that went.
up next is Aqua. Aqua is the one who is actually Autumn's mini. Violin
The
bow.
violin. Yeah.
She is going to move up to the one that you guys have already beaten the shit out of, and she's going to attempt to swing at it twice with her Twilight Blades. She's gonna miss with one, hit with the other, and see if she can kill it. It probably shouldn't be too hard because she literally almost 100-0 this thing in one turn. Hey, that'll fucking do it. That one is dead.
So I'm not grappled anymore.
No, you are no longer grappled. As that one kind of like falls to the ground, you're able to kind of like push the claw off. As Aqua cuts through the head of it and kind of like looks up to the two of you and just goes, "Oh, good timing."
T just kind of gives like an unimpressed like. So how did you even end up here? Kind of look. It
What
doesn't
accent
actually
were you
say
going with
anything.
there?
I was going to say I think I'm wondering how I ended up here, but T wasn't the one that ended up here.
It is now the other giant scorpion's turn. And it is going to attempt to attack Knight with all of its bullshit.
Scorpion sauce over.
That'll miss with both claw attacks. With a natural 1 and a natural 3, absolutely. The stinger. Ooh, that's a natural 18. That'll fucking hit.
Who are you attacking?
And, they are attacking Knight.
Knight.
Yes.
God damn it, Knight. Stop fooling around, Frere, and get back to the fight.
Knight is going to take approximately a fuck ton of poison damage. She is bloodied as she gets kind of stabbed directly through the shoulder with the poison thing and is able to sort of push it off before kind of like turning around everyone else and be like, little, ow, help! That'll end the giant scorpion's turn and bring us to Arwen.
That's you!
Wow.
Wow.
How many? Shrip can fly like 60 feet, right? No, she can't.
Yes, she can.
Well, I'm on her.
Yes, she has 60-foot flying speed if you'd like to use that.
Fly her
You think
60
Countess
feet
is
towards you guys. Hooray!
This isn't gonna work.
Yeah, I know. Which way are you going?
It's teamwork. It's
Towards
team
the
effort.
scorpions.
Yeah, so you don't have like right there.
Transcribed.
Cool.
Could
Um,
Arwen then jump off and use their movement?
Yes.
Yeah. Because I haven't gone anywhere yet.
Fling yourself on a scorpion like T.
I was going to say I would like to just mount the scorpion.
Which one?
The one that's in front of me. This guy, yeah.
Go for it.
I'm gonna use 2 of my daggers and hop onto it and just start.
Make an attack roll.
Should I make an
Would it
attack roll
count
for?
as flanking or no?
It would
I'm flanking from above.
not.
Flanking from above.
I'm using 2 daggers. So I roll twice.
Roll. Yeah, you can roll twice because it's your action, your bonus action.
Okay. A 2. Let's see what happened. This
really
one
pretty.
is
Can't
a
read.
5. 5 plus 10. 10. No. 11. I'll do it again. Hold on. 5 and a 7. Great. Cool. It's 5 plus 7. 12
12 will not
and
hit.
14.
14 will also not hit, just barely.
Darn. Well, I tried.
Get the bad rolls out of the
You're
way
on a
first.
scorpion.
I'm on a scorpion. I'm gonna.
Oh, actually, wait. Am I looking at the wrong thing? Yes, 14 hit just barely hits. So
Stab
roll
it.
me, it is in combat range with Gab, so roll me your d4 and then also 3d6 for your sneak attack.
Do you need dice?
3d6 and a d4. Nope, I got him.
So you're going to roll all that and then add 4.
Ding. 4,
Oh, this
3.
got
I
turned.
flipped that. Sorry, you saw how it flipped?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, it was
4,
on 3.
That's 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Plus
I'm gonna
4.
get different dice.
Plus 4 is 15 points of
Well, the
damage.
D6 did well.
15 points of damage?
That is correct.
That's not bad. Oh,
I don't know.
Let's go for this bag.
Oop.
What are you?
They're really pretty though.
These?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just like, they're unfinished, and I never actually sanded or inked them because I thought they looked like jelly.
They do.
They do?
Where is...
Have I did the thing yet, or what are we doing?
Yes, you did your turn.
Okay, I thought I was like, I thought you were waiting on me for a
Nope,
second.
I'm simply looking at something that Knight can do. Alright, so it's going to be Knight's turn. Knight is actually going to move in between and towards the back of the 2 scorpions. So kind of like forward 15 feet.
Is this it?
Yes, that way 15 feet. Right to there.
Ooh.
And she is going to use, make sure that I have,
Let's roll.
3.
she is
That's
going
a
to
D12.
use, Nova.
Nah, a 6. Well, I mean,
Great. They have +1 to their dex. They both fail. And so as she gathers up all of the daggers in her aura. She just kind of like pushes her hands down and explodes them out in a nova of daggers. So they're each going to take 4d8 piercing.
48.
That, not the best rolls. So they each take 14 points of piercing damage.
How many of the little scorpions are there?
There are 2 packs of them.
It's like 15 a pack, I think.
Oh, okay. It was like packs.
Alright, the one that Arwen and her have now hit is now bloodied.
Ooh.
Alright, moving up next, it is going to be Syl.
Okay. Alright, now.
Come join the party.
No. No. 5,
Gimme.
10, 15, 20, 25, 30. I'll use my action.
Cool.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. I'll play healer and cast healing word on Knight.
You do that.
That'll be 5 points.
She is just barely not bloodied.
We need a healer.
Indeed.
I'm trying to get there!
We'll get there when we get there. Next up is going to be Knight. Or not Knight, fuck me. Rare. Rare is going to move 30 feet this way.
This one, right?
Indeed.
Hello. Hello. You're rare now? Yep. Rare commodity.
Fuck, you beat me to it.
You gonna go for the same joke?
I was gonna say, men like that are a rare commodity.
Ah!
Didn't work. Just tried to do this.
Try to be
If you're
anime
Kai in
freak.
like a slutty winter outfit.
You mean his usual
He's in a
outfit?
sheer top.
I love that. Send me a picture of that. I'm drawing it.
Oh, 30
Oh,
feet
God.
that 30 feet that way, if you could, for a
Oh,
rare.
ow.
This way?
Yes, towards you. So from where she was, 30 feet out.
Oh, where she was over here?
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Yes, she's streaking 30 feet that way.
Good.
Yes. Creature's gonna make a dexterity saving throw. That's a natural 2, and that'll fail.
Ooh. That's rough.
I
Is it
need
fur or feathers?
66.
Fur.
I
I appreciate that. Yeah. Oh,
And that's what we in the business like to call enough.
there's a shiny. Oh, wait.
So the one that Arwen has laid into and that Knight just hit, she takes her crystal ball focus and sort of spikes it straight into the ground, and it sort of like shatters into like, it almost looks like miniature snowflakes as it does, before pushing forward, and right before it reaches the creature, in a, actually to make sure it doesn't hit Knight, 10 feet before it hits the creature, it pops out in a 20-foot long cone of icicles that just sort of like jaggedly erupt from the ground as they reach and just like, and it sort of pierces directly underneath the creature and sort of like pushes it up at an angle, but manages to not hit you, Arwen. And as it does, the creature is impaled by probably a good 8 or 9 icicles and just kind of like attempts to push off before just going limp, and it is dead. What?
Some earthbender stuff.
She is an elementalist.
Which one was that?
This one.
That
Oh,
one
so
is
that
dead.
one's
Yes.
dead now?
Yep.
Cool. I'll just slide down the
Excellent. It's your turn.
icicles and try not to impale my asshole.
And at the
Wow!
at the end of the round, you hear the ground sort of rumbling and shaking from behind you
Oh no, we don't.
Right.
Just say
As-
something.
No, we don't.
as two additional giant scorpions.
I'm
Ow!
feeling because I got that +6. I was like, she wouldn't give it to me for no good reason.
Oh,
Oh, no!
recycled
Don't worry,
scorpion.
Kai. I'll come to your rescue. Me and T will save you.
I would've done this with Ash.
Up
Wait,
here
wait, we
behind
haven't
you.
even got to see Sylvia.
Oh god!
No, I was gonna put some.
Oh, I was gonna help Rare too.
Yeah, he needs one more level for that bullshit.
What?
For Soul's dancing bullshit.
It's bullshit. Yeah.
So,
Ocarina.
as you see these pop up from behind you, T, it is now your turn.
No.
I'll go flank the one that's in front of Kai.
All right.
Is it within range of Kai?
It is not. It is 10 feet away from
Okay.
Kai, so you do not have advantage on the strikes, unfortunately.
It wouldn't 5 feet away.
22,
That'll hit.
18,
Points of damage or to hit?
To hit.
Yeah, that'll hit.
Okay. Just do both my types of damage at the same time. Cool. I don't know why I never remember this part of it.
You think how
11.
often you have it memorized?
Yeah. And that's not great.
Gesundheit.
Thank you.
19 total.
Gotcha.
My staff.
Doing anything else?
Trying to imitate me.
Perfect.
No, I just looked up and then you like did that.
I'm gonna bonus action unarmed strike.
Gotcha.
And do I decide if it's a stunning strike before or after?
Well, I mean, you can't waste a key point on stunning strike if you miss. I will say that much.
Okay.
So
yeah,
you
I'm
have to
stunning
you
strike.
have to know that you hit before you can stunning strike. So it's impossible to waste key points on that.
Okay. I'm going to be stunning striking if it hits.
Okay.
It's a natural 20.
Natural 20. Yeah, that'll hit.
Cool.
Yeah, if it didn't.
It comes out of the
Double
ground
that
and
dice.
immediately gets flipped.
So.
Oh wow.
15 damage.
15 damage. Cool.
And,
It is bloodied. And you're stunning striking.
Yeah.
I think it makes a con save.
Yep.
Yes, against your spell save DC, which is 8 plus your 8 plus proficiency plus wisdom.
Which wisdom on?
Is it wisdom?
Yes, it is wisdom.
Okay. Then it is 14.
14. Cool.
It's not bad at all.
Let's see. It gets a +2 to its con. That is natural 20.
Great.
So it unfortunately
It
does.
still fucks
It
up pretty
unfortunately
good.
does succeed. That said, it is already a little bit beyond bloody, so it is already starting to look pretty rough. As you kind of are able to cut into the tail, you're almost able to actually sever the tail in your first blow of
Came
attacks.
to the party. Oh my god.
Anything else from you, T?
No. I'll just position myself a little better so Kai does want to flank.
Cool.
Kai fly.
Up next is Fen.
Hey, is this one hurt at all or no?
No.
So I will.
Wait, yes it is. Got hit by Knight's Nova.
Pretty bad, or how's it looking?
It's not bloodied yet, but
Okay.
it definitely has like 2 or 3 daggers sticking into it currently.
Alright, so I will bonus action Hexblade's Curse it, and then
Mhm.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25,
Gotcha.
and I will make 2 attacks.
Roll to hit.
So I'm just gonna roll 2 first and see if it hits. The
Exactly.
first one is 14 plus 7 to hit.
14 plus 7, that'll
The
hit.
second one is. This is good. Okay, no. The second one doesn't hit.
Gotcha.
Wait, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, no, the second one doesn't hit, but the first one does hit.
Alright.
So, since I have my Hexblade's Curse, it's plus 6 from the thing that she
Yes.
did. And then.
Your Hexblade Curse is an additional D6,
and then
right?
and then I get plus. No, my Hexblade's Curse is my. So I add the proficiency as well as charisma to the damage. So.
Gotcha.
4, 5, 6, 7 plus 6. So that's plus 13, right? 6 plus 7 is 13? Am I
Yes.
doing that wrong? Okay. So 2d6 plus 13. So 6. 7, 8. What's 13 plus 8?
Yeah, 21.
21. I deal 21 points of damage to it.
That's
Nice.
pretty damn good.
It's looking pretty rough.
So that was action, bonus action, and movement. I cannot,
Pretty dead.
and I cannot do anything else.
I can show you an example of that.
This pen is crap.
Oh, balls.
Now I gotta keep Bunny Pen to specifically use for D&D, and I haven't brought it.
Why?
I've had it for like 2 months.
Alright, that moves us to that giant scorpion is dead. So that's going to bring us to Gab.
If Gab can't do it, who can? Nobody.
Gab is going to use her action to cast Bless on Syl, on Arwen, and on T. So you guys Gabcast Bless on you. You get for the next minute you get an additional D4 to attack rolls and saving throws. If I'm not mistaken, I believe that's what it is. Yes. She's also going to pull another card from her Major Arcana.
Already being done there.
She pulled... Ooh, interesting. She pulled time. She pulls out a card that you can see seems to have some sort of hourglass motif on it. She is going to hold on to it right now and not play it quite yet. But that will end her turn. So that will bring us to... Boop, boop, be-doop.
Who's that?
A dead giant scorpion. Kai.
I'm going to step forward 5 feet
Mhm.
and cast Word of Radiance on Scorpion, so it has to pass a con save.
Con save?
That's how it works.
What?
No, just flashback to the last time you tried to do
Yeah.
it from like 6 years
That
ago.
is a con save of 9, so I'm imagining that fails.
I don't know.
It would fail.
Yeah,
I'm
Okay.
pretty sure Kai has
It gets
like
up against your
15 or
DC.
16 spell saves.
Oh, is that?
Put it
okay.
this way, it's 8 plus 3 at a minimum right now.
Oh yeah, 16.
Yeah, you have a DC 16, so yeah, 9 is going to
Sweet.
fail. So roll your damage.
You certainly can.
Oh yes, you're up to 2d6 on that now, that's right.
Use the Foxfire Devil.
8.
8?
Do I add anything to that?
Nope, just 8. It's looking really fucking rough between you and T. Anything else for your turn?
Can I bonus action stab with a dagger? Is that a thing?
No, because
No.
the only way that you can use your bonus action for an attack with a light weapon is if you use your action to attack with a weapon. That is the other stipulation of that.
Alright, we use 2 weapons.
I mean, technically, if you're just wielding one dagger, you can use a bonus. You can use an action to attack and a bonus action to attack again.
I'm good now.
Alright, cool.
That's all.
That is going to bring us to Lucian, and Lucian is going to
Put some money down. That'll be all.
run up to the one with Fen.
Is he gonna try and
Suspicious.
go to
He's
the,
helping me.
the like side of it, or
Can
just
that
straight
be
on?
He's just kind of like straight on.
Ever wouldn't have seen something nice. He's showing them a good side.
He's going to hit it with his great sword, and he's going to do 14 points of damage to it. And this thing is looking like on death's door. It is looking incredibly bad.
Oh, hell yeah.
That will end his turn. And that is going to bring us to one Scorpion Swarm attack against you, Fen, and then one against you, Syl.
Bring it.
That is a 17 to hit against Syl, and a 5 to hit against Fen.
I was about to reaction shield again.
God damn it.
I only have 2 of these.
You take 1 point of
Well,
piercing
we can
damage
chill
and
for
make a
half
con
hour
save.
after.
4. Oh, nothing. 14.
14? Yeah, that's fine. You take 1 point of piercing damage, that is it.
I think I'm down.
Alright, that is going to move us to the Giant Scorpion's turn, who is directly in front of you, Fen. It's going to be 2 claw attacks against Lucian and stinger attack against you.
Mhm.
2 claw attacks against Lucian are both going to miss. And then stinger attack against you is
Natural
going
20.
to be, no, 16 to hit.
Oh, that hits.
Might as well then.
Alright. It's going to be, make me a Constitution saving throw.
So, whatever this dice gets, plus 2. So, what's 1 plus 2?
3.
That's what I got.
Alright, so you took 10 points of piercing damage.
Woo!
We'll get you
And
to a healer.
let me gather up my d10s here.
Yeah, I might actually.
Instant death.
That is 23 points of poison damage.
I'm still alive.
Ooh, 3 whole hit points.
We'll get you to a healer eventually.
Do you know any?
Shut
We're busy.
Yeah, busy at the moment.
And that's he hears you talking shit like through the battle, just like stop. I'm trying.
Up next is Aqua, who is going to kind of like move up to you, Fen. That one.
That one?
Yep.
Okay.
And is going to kind of like get in front of you a little bit to protect you, and is going to actually like the thing like goes to try and sting at her, and she sort of cuts the stinger off and then cuts to the face of it. That one is dead.
Oh, hell yeah. Thank you. Oh god.
Which is going to which is going to move us to Arwen. What you doing, Arwen?
Gonna yeet myself at that guy, obviously.
You have 35?
I have 35 spaces of movement. Spaces, not feet.
Alright. Roll the hit if you would like. Keep in mind you do have a D4 to all of these attack rolls.
D4 in addition, you're right.
Yes, so if you're using your action to attack, roll me a D20 and a D4.
He might have been able to reach here. He was what, here?
Here.
Here?
Yeah.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35.
19
Won't be flanking, but be close.
plus... What am I hitting with again? My dagger.
Dagger, yeah.
So that's plus 5? Plus 5.
No,
Plus 4.
daggers plus,
Plus 4.
plus your dex plus proficiency, so plus 7 total.
7. That's a lot more than I thought. 7.
Gotcha?
So...
Oh, sorry, I regained each
26.
26. Guys.
Yes, you do.
5.
Equal to your level, right?
So I'm hearing
and
is-
charisma. So
Gotcha.
4, 5, 6,
Oh, I added the... That's I get it. That makes sense.
It's not about the die.
So what Cass, what was it to hit?
26.
26, that'll hit. Roll me damage. It's a D4 and 3d6.
That's not sneak attack.
Yes. Is
Is it sneak attack? Is
It is sneak attack.
flanking?
Yep.
Hey!
Because I'm flanking with
Hey!
a small Ferox problems.
Hooray! Where the heck is... There it is. And I needed a D4.
D4.
Hey, there it is. 2, 6, 12. Okay, 17.
17 from the dice.
17 plus 5.
Alright, plus 4.
Plus 4.
Yes.
Sorry, I don't know why I have this.
Blackjack.
21, so it takes 21 points of damage. Are you using your bonus action to attack as well?
Yeah.
Alright, roll the hit
Yeah.
again.
Yes, I am.
Still with the D4.
Still with the D4?
Yep.
Holy crap. 16 plus 2. 18.
Yep,
Plus
plus 7.
Plenty.
25. Yeah, that'll hit. Roll me no sneak attack this time, just the D4 plus 4.
6.
6 points of damage. Alright, the thing is bloodied, just from you.
Hey.
So ending your turn, that is going to bring us to Knight. Knight is going to... Knight's actually going to move probably like 20 feet diagonal closer to Syl.
This one?
Yep.
Sorry. Good luck.
Cool. She is going to do some damage to it. Collecting her daggers in her aura, she's going to whip 2 of them at it, kind of piercing through the side of it, doing some damage, further bloodying it, but that will end her turn. Next up is going to be the giant scorpion that is in front of Kai and T. It's going to be 2 claw attacks against T, stinger attack against Kai. So 2 claw attacks against T is going to
It's
be...
almost all the way cut off.
It's still working.
Oof. So the first one is a 6 to hit versus armor class. And the second one is a 21 to hit versus armor class. So it is going to be 8 points of bludgeoning damage, and you are once again grappled.
Oh, fucksies.
Alright, and against Yukai, that is going to be... Oof. 23 to hit versus armor class.
Gee, I wonder.
Make me a con save, if you would. 14. 14?
If you were,
Excellent.
if you were inside of another person's like husk, would their AC go before yours?
I don't know.
Well, if they're dead, I think they have 0 deaths at that point.
Yeah.
But that's still like an armor of sorts.
Maybe, like, I'd say +2.
That's a bridge that I'll cross when and if we get there.
I hope we don't get there.
Alright, so that is
Unless
going
it's
to
a
be,
turn
That's where we're going.
that is going to be 9 points of piercing
Make
damage.
sure.
Cool.
So mark that first off against your Shield of Glimmering Faith.
So 3 points of piercing damage.
3 points of piercing damage to you personally, and since you succeeded on the con save, it means you only take half as much poison damage.
And it's 50.
No, so that is 20 reduced to
Same.
10 points of poison damage.
That's not so bad.
Yeah, so you take 3 points of piercing damage, 10 points of poison damage. So it was 13 hit points in total. Ending its turn. Next up is Syl.
Question.
Answer.
Answer.
Because you know what my fighting style is.
I do.
Do I get advantage from flanking? Because I never thought of that.
No,
Okay.
I think flanking has to be with a melee attack.
I just want to make sure that's all.
Yep.
So I'm just going to turn around and shoot at that scorpion.
Go for it. Roll the hit with the d4. Yeah, okay, cool. Just making sure you remembered.
That would be 10 plus 17.
17 will hit. Roll me damage.
That'd be 10 damage.
10 damage. Alright, you do 10 damage to it.
What did you attack with?
My bow. I took 2 levels in fire. My fighting style is close range shooter.
Hey, that's a
I
good
don't get
one.
disadvantage.
Oh, okay.
That's
I was
very
gonna
helpful.
say, wait,
Yeah.
you're
Look
like
how
literally
awful
like
stuff like
pointing
this
the arrow.
happens.
You're like putting the arrow against its skull before knocking it off.
I was say no, and I will say for flavor, Syl kind of like whips out the bow and kind of like slides an arrow out of the quiver on his back, and sort of jams the arrow first, like just in between the fingers, into the skull of the scorpion, before pulling it back like Lego style, just and just firing it directly into where he just stabbed. The scorpion kind of reels back from it. Anything else for your turn, Syl?
This one's bloodied.
Very bloodied. It's on death's door. So is that one.
Then yeah, that's it. I'm not gonna use one of my
Alright.
Diamond Bar things.
That is going to bring us to
Gotta read.
Rare's turn.
I was debating.
Not
Not gonna lie.
Work.
But I was thinking like save as much as possible for the dungeon because I don't know when you're gonna miss.
Right after.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I think it's like evening or afternoon time now.
Yeah, it's afternoon.
So we'll probably be making camp after this anyway.
I just wasn't sure.
Alright, Rare is going to
I'm not the one that's bloodied.
I'm okay now. I'm at 12 out of 40. Could be worse.
It was a lot worse.
that'll hit.
Ours untouched, I think. I don't think you had a single attack against you.
I came in from above,
Yeah.
where no one would expect, which is ultimately my only strategy. For
Nobody
it, but-
expects the R1 Inquisition.
Honestly,
Uh,
your random effect is why I rely on some battles. Just like throw off the enemy for a moment.
I like being
Alright,
on top of enemies. What can I say?
so, Rare sort of reforms her crystal before throwing it in a streak of fire at the one in between R1 and Syl. It hits it for 9 points of fire damage, and that thing is at 1 hit point, if I'm being honest. That said, it is now its turn.
Step on its toe, it'll collapse.
So it is going to take 2 claw attacks against Arwen and a stinger attack against Syl.
What if I told it no?
Then it'll attack me.
You can certainly try. Arwen, that is... that is a 7 to hit
No.
and an unnatural 20.
Oh.
You suffer... Whoop, goodbye.
I just suffer.
Yeah, you just suffer.
You suffer. Like how
You suffer 10 points of piercing damage, or bludgeoning damage, and you're restrained.
That sucks.
Or grappled, rather. Ash, can you get my dice there before a cat decides that it looks real yummy?
I don't think they'd eat a whole dice. Maybe all these.
Maybe a half.
Oh no!
the sugar cube.
They
No.
need a flat one.
And against you, Syl, that is 23 to hit.
That's it.
When I roll a natural 19, I'm always just like, oops. So you suffer 7 points of piercing damage, and make me a con save with a d4.
5.
5 total?
Yeah.
Why?
Jesus Christ, kid. You suffer 1, 3, 9, 19 points of poison damage.
Okay.
Right. Ending your turn. T, it is your turn.
Oh, if I wasn't taking the levels of fire, that'd be down.
I'm gonna attack
The one in front of you?
Scorpion. Sorry.
The dice.
That's great.
What are you up to?
Eating
Cat's
dice.
getting in your bag.
16.
It's fine. 16 to hit.
Yeah.
Will hit.
Cool. I'm gonna roll the second one.
Jesus, what are you up to? Okay.
It's more than that.
That'll hit.
Yeah.
Roll me damage for the first one first, actually, because
It's a 8 plus 5.
Yeah, it is dead.
Cool. So then, I'm gonna run up to this bad boy. Do you want me to re-roll my second strike again, or just counter
Yeah.
this?
Roll your second strike if you would.
Just a natural 16.
That'll hit. How do you want to do this?
Jam your staff down its throat.
Say it is 1 hit point, so there's literally no way you could not do that damage.
Yeah.
Has a mouth and
To
has a
trigger
throat.
herself, she's gonna, without thinking, whip it around and stab it right where she stabbed Gruff, and then just fall backwards.
As you fall backwards, let me
Right onto the stinger.
Oh. Just like the stinger.
I guess so.
give me 1 second here to kind of
I want to go around and steal all their stingers and put them in a jar.
You know what? They might be worth something. Giant
Exactly. I want the poison in them.
There's some music. So let me
Just
see
my
here.
ear was really close to it, and it just
Yeah.
started with like moaning, and I was confused.
Isn't that what happened in deserts?
Yeah.
Ooh, I like this.
Thank you. T, as you guys finish this combat, do me a favor. Make me a wisdom save.
Are you smarter
she said
than a
give up.
scorpion?
That's a natural 2, so I'm not even gonna bother.
So you guys, as T finishes this and falls on the ground, you watch as T runs about 40 feet that way,
Oh.
up to like the top of a sand dune, and like over the other side just begins like retching profusely.
Oh no, you stab.
Once I'm done, I stumble like 5 feet away from my wretch and sit on the ground, hands on either side of head between knees.
Let's talk about this thing's name.
Is that the poison? Is that what happened? I wasn't really paying attention.
Wisdom,
at that point.
so it's all up here.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Alright, so as all of you see this happen, the NPCs here begin to heal up where needed and begin to like gather themselves together before all of you kind of come together in a group.
That's a video all out here.
Who needs help? Who needs heals?
Honestly, I don't know. I guess I was thinking like if we did a short rest, you wouldn't have to wait for the spell slot. And I could probably just.
Oh, yeah.
I was to say, seeing that you took some hits, Gab will actually heal you for. Ooh, those are some good rolls. That's 15 points of healing.
Ooh,
then.
thank you.
I have 2/3 of my health at the moment.
I have
I guess it's
1/3.
probably fine. What?
Listen to this,
Oh.
ready?
I'm spanking the cat? Is that what's happening?
Giving him pats.
The cat was left up on his
Rare
face.
is
Told you! Don't you start. I hate you.
Rare is going to come up to you and give you a potion of greater healing.
That'd be very awkward for a night. Oh.
So I'm rolling.
Okay.
That is 3, 6, 9.
12, 15, 18.
Damn, you're fine. 11. 15 points of healing to you as well.
Yeah, I'd still like to suggest that we take a short rest, and then I'll use my hit dice if everybody agrees.
I was gonna say, if we're taking a short rest, I'll use Son of Rest so everyone's extra D6.
Yes. Well, I'll say for right now, you guys are currently about 100 feet away from the entrance of the temple, so I don't know if you want to rest out in the dunes here, as the smaller scorpions are still kind of scattering back to their various holes, or head into the temple to do this. But we will RP out the conversation that happens between you and the now leaving NPCs, save Lucian, before any kind of rest happens, as
Okay.
Aqua-
I would vote to rest.
Yeah.
Ruins.
Aqua kind of like gives a polite bow to all of you. I'll be honest, I'm not entirely sure what you all are doing out here, but thank you for your very timely intervention all the same. What are you doing out here?
Looking for stuff.
We're on a treasure hunt, and you can't have any.
Okay.
Looking for some artifacts.
Right. And she kind of turns around to the ruins and goes, I do wish you luck. I don't know that I've known of anyone who's ever actually successfully explored all of these ruins and lived to tell the tale, so, I'm sure there's a lot in there still.
If we can survive
good
the
thinking.
Warlock's Crypt, we can survive this probably. Do we know why they're there?
Nope.
We didn't ask. So, what brings you all out here?
We actually probably left. So you guys have been gone for 2 weeks. we've probably been gone about 3 weeks now. We made a trip to one of the desert villages south of here for a trade of we try to regularly trade information and things of that nature with them, just to kind of keep everyone updated. But they are one of the furthest south settlements on the Sword Coast, and we are just coming back from that. It is certainly the most adventurous thing that we've encountered thus far, and I suppose a bit of good fortune on our part that you all were here.
See any guild members by chance? Any guildy looking folk?
We have not, but we
They're apparently here too.
our trip southward actually took us closer to the coast than this, so they might have taken a different path than we would have. This is our first time seeing the ruins since our departure.
Understandable. Well, glad we could help. Glad nobody died.
This thing.
Indeed. We will, well, nice as it is to see you, we should probably begin our journey homeward. We do still have a couple hours of daylight that we can make some ground today, so we will see you all upon your return to Baldur's Gate.
Fingers crossed, am I right, everybody?
Indeed. Well, I hope you don't encounter anything too exciting in this roads.
The only exciting thing I want to see is treasure.
And he goes about you, and she begins to walk off. Gab kind of like gives you all like a smile and a wave before she heads off too. Knight does the same, kind of gives you like a special little salute. From the time that you've spent together, just like her being your enchanting teacher and all, you two have gotten a little bit closer as friends. And as she walks by, Rare would just be like, "Please, don't die again."
Who knows? Maybe this time will come back as a tiefling.
We could twin, but I think I just prefer you to stay the same for just like a little bit.
It's all about looks.
And I'm not wrong.
She's the thing for her best friend not dying.
Oh, okay.
It's her kink.
No, I just love how T's having a panic attack and everyone's just like, yeah, bye.
Don't worry, I'm Gab there.
I was about to say, Gab would make her way like over to you and just like kind of like you would just hear, "Are you okay?"
T would be unresponsive unless someone like touched her shoulder.
Gab like would come over and like kneel down in front of you.
She would like.
Sorry, I don't know if this is necessarily the right thing to do here, but Colette's typically pretty good at comforting people, and I feel like this is something she would do. And she hands you, she has a water skin on her left side and one on her right side, and she purposely grabs one on her left side and hands it to you. You can smell the wine coming from it.
Oh, yes.
Right after you
Alcohol helps
He
you
just
get
kind
it.
of nods, but like hands shaking, just like starts chugging.
Oh no, somebody cast an
After you get past like the third chug, she'll kind of like grab it and prevent you from chugging anymore and kind of start to pull it down. Probably not too much, yeah?
Sure, he emptied out hers. Thinking of the one we were doing all shots out of.
Thanks.
That's what I'm here for. And she'll kind of like whip a card out of her thing. And
business card.
damn, no, out of her focus. And you get 13 hit points back. As she kind of like just presses it like gently onto your shoulder and kind of feel the energies kind of course through you and heal you.
Slightly better, but still definitely looking shaken up. Thanks.
Like I said, that's what I'm here for. Just make sure you come back safe. You gonna be okay?
Doesn't matter one way or the other.
I think a lot of people would disagree with that, to be honest. You think Rose Lily wouldn't mind not having her mom come home?
I'm sure she would.
I'm sure she would too. And with that, Gab walks away.
You're just kind of like pouting now.
I'm gonna brood, Gab. How about this guilt, T? So, anybody else doing anything as the four of them leave?
I want all the scorpions there. How many are there? 4?
5.
5.
Do you want the stingers or the venom specifically?
Both.
So you're able to get... The stingers are pretty large. The stingers are about this big.
Well, I want to take... How are they heavy? How heavy are they?
Probably about 25, 30
Oh, yeah,
pounds
you got
each.
Pocket.
Yeah, the pocket.
You're probably able to fit like 2 in the pocket
I'll
before your
put 2 in
pocket
the
is just
pocket.
full.
Completely full.
Completely full.
I'll put 1 in my pocket.
Gotcha.
And in my regular pockets, I have glass vials
Yes.
that are empty.
Make a medicine check for me as you attempt to extract poison.
Okay.
I can help.
Well,
Oh,
she's-
here we go.
Well, she is rolling that. Audie, what do you...
So I wanted to ask, is it possible for me to like break
Guys,
off a big enough
do you
hunk
want
of
help
this
with the medicine
carapace
check?
that I think I could like take it to a blacksmith and have it turned into a shield or something?
You can certainly try and make a medicine check as well.
I have +1.
Could I help R1 with the medicine check?
And I rolled a natural 1. Please
Sure.
help me.
Roll with advantage, I suppose.
It's a 1.
Or can I do it for R1? What the fuck, you
No.
do?
Make
Help me with
roll,
it.
roll with advantage.
With advantage?
Yes.
Oh, cool.
I'm gonna ask for help. Somebody I don't know how to break off scorpion parts.
10.
I want to
You're able to gather a 1 vial of scorpion poison.
Hooray!
You can throw the vial at something, and whatever it touches, it'll do 2d6 poison damage to. And if you get something to ingest it, it does double damage at 4d6 poison damage.
R1, can I borrow a bottle?
So does
Giving us one
ingesting
bottle.
count if you put it
I'll
on your
give
blade
you a
and
bottle.
stab it inside their body?
No, that would still be like
I think it counts if you pour it in their fucking tea or something.
R1 gave me a bottle. Can I get some?
make a medicine check.
That's how we're gonna do it.
Eat my sword!
You are. You what is wrong with you?
What did you roll on that one?
I'm so upset.
We just don't know how these.
I was gonna say you go to collect it, and you accidentally trip and smash the glass vial into the scorpion.
I saw the wall.
I just can't figure it out.
How did this happen? I'm like, these 3 bumbles. I'm like, oh, it'll be so good. I go, +8 to medicine.
Plus to medicine.
Shut up. Shut up.
Oh man, what a time to be alive.
Yeah, I stab around at it and
So.
I fucking give up.
So with everything now done there, are you guys moving into the temple to take your rest?
I suggest that we should go outside. Or at least, like,
Yes,
if the temple's casting some shade, maybe we sit in the shade.
Yeah, it's been calling us fat.
As you guys move towards the temple, that is where we're going to take our break for tonight, so that I can
yeah.
switch out the map cam for the map of the temple, and we can get a solid hour and a half to 2 hours of dungeon delving without even any combat. Maybe it was just dungeon exploration and investigation. So we will see all of you in about 10 to 15 minutes for some dungeon delving exploration fun.
Bye.
Bye. Sorry about that. We had some issues with our audio. To recap what has happened real quick, the gang took a short rest inside of the ruins. They found some murals. They found some murals that depicted times from the Dragon Wars in which humanoids fought with the metallic dragons against the chromatic dragons when they were first created. And Arwen just found a note that was an invitation to a party for the Grand Archmage's birthday. And the note was from 68 DE, so 68 years after the Dragon War, after the humanoids had become involved in the Dragon War and began fighting alongside of it. Fen, make a history check for me, if you would.
I'm like, oh, that's a long time ago, I think. Okay. So 10 plus H is for history. 11.
11?
Thought my history was better than that.
Would he be your best dragon scholar?
You can also roll for it, since you can also speak read Draconic. So you can also make a history check for me, and the two of you can kind of tag team this.
13.
13? With that combined, the story said the Dragon Wars went on for about 50 years, so you can maybe picture if this would be the end of it. You would know that, you would know that the marking of time got switched from the Dragon Era to the PC era, which is post-Cataclysm. When the Cataclysm happened, you would know that you are currently... I just need to bring up... the dates real quick to make sure that I have this right.
I feel like I'm seeing little eyelashes and pieces of my own hair in my glasses. They're inescapable.
I flames hair.
I think you're good. No.
Oh, I was like, why are you twitching your eye and holding your thumb up at me?
Oh well, now you're not gonna load. Rip me then.
Okay.
That was
Pepperoni.
yours.
Pepperoni. You can't just
Me, Tony Pepperoni.
bada bing, bada boom.
Wesley is like passed the fuck out on the carpet over there.
Man, fuck, I can't find it. Alright, so you would know, man, I really wish I would have known where I put this at, but I don't.
Use my intelligence.
Maybe this one? There you go.
There we go.
So you would know the current year, since you guys have just moved into the new year while you were doing your travels for T's adventure.
Happy New Year.
You just moved to 1508 post Cataclysm. So you would know that it has been at least 1508 years since that. With those history rolls, though, you're not entirely sure at what point,
But like, we switched.
at how many years passed before you switched from the dragon era into post Cataclysm. So, but it has been at least over 1500 years.
Like,
You'll be
if
able to surmise.
great-grandmama were still here, she could actually answer that question. Too bad she is also a horrible, horrible woman.
Oh,
And she's dead, so that's good.
So that is everything that you are able to find, Arwen.
And I hand
Syl.
it back to him.
Yes. Syl, you inspect the doors.
I inspect the doors.
They seem like doors.
They seem like doors.
Wow.
They don't seem trapped. They're made of metal. That is about it.
Are they open inward, outward?
They swing inward.
Could they even open with the sand?
Since they open
Well, I didn't know if
Yeah,
if
you
I
could-
tried on
you
the
could
handle
you
would
could
be jammed.
you could probably get one open if you wanted to. Yeah.
You mean the main doors or?
No, the
I'm
doors
putting
to the doors to the different rooms.
here,
Oh,
here.
I was
Yes.
actually
And-
wanted to find out about the private study.
All right.
That's actually
Is
where
it
I was
locked?
What?
heading.
It is not locked.
Can I open private study?
You open the private study.
You can tell the party in case you in
There is like a slight like a dusting of sand in the private study, but since the door is closed and it doesn't have any open windows, there's obviously significantly less sand. There's not even an inch of it, like a quarter inch on the ground that you're able to kind of gravel through. There's remains of a desk and a chair and old shelves, and there are magically lit torches in here that are still burning.
Spooky.
And when you close the door,
But yeah.
Can I
investigate the desk?
It's like a fridge everything.
Yes. Roll an investigation check.
Oh no, he's gonna die.
What'd you roll?
6.
You are not able to find much on the desk, unfortunately. However, you are able to find no. One of the drawers is kind of glowing a light blue color and is magically sealed.
Oh, it's a problem that you do not know a way to get that done.
Is that something you can open?
Yeah, remember when we knocked open the holder thing door?
Yes.
Or when we
Yes,
like
Can I
knocked
call
over
you
all
in?
those
You
scorpions.
call me in. Do you go?
Yeah, I mean, are you gonna call out?
Yeah, I'll say, Sylvanus, come
Yes.
in here for a second.
Okay.
And I'll point to the drawer and be like, do
I'm
your
doing
thing.
Do my thing.
you know, to open, he doesn't like remember to open the thing with the magic.
My Sylvanus is being difficult to be funny since it's actually
I think so. Just nod for a moment and then think, did he take too much poison?
So what do you guys do?
I could, but you must realize that if I do this, it's going to make quite a bit of noise.
I'll yell to go.
It's fine.
Also,
What
I
an
don't know
empty
if this is
ruin.
possible, but like with the magically lit torches, is there a way to tell how long they've been lit for?
Make an
Just silence the area outside of it.
make an
so it
Arcana
doesn't
check.
travel.
Do you know silence?
No,
Can I borrow
don't
one of
you
your
know silence?
d20s,
I do,
please?
but I'm not there.
I don't
we
trust
brought
mine
it in.
anymore.
I'm sitting in the first room that we
Thank
came
you.
in, just zoning out.
We'll figure we'd ask you.
It's going to be 17.
17?
Okay.
You would know with this
Been zoned
particular
out for over an hour.
you would know with this particular spell. Once you create the fire with this, the only way to make this not be on fire anymore is to dispel magic or something else of the sort to
So it could
diffuse the
been
fire
however
magically.
long ago.
So theoretically speaking, somebody could have just lit this. Theoretically speaking, somebody could have lit this a million years ago.
Do you want to open this desk now? We know a way to make it silent. Yes. Gee,
Isn't there?
could we use
Ooh.
your silence in this room, please?
We all fit in there, yeah.
Understand that if I cast silence, you won't be able to use any verbal spells either.
I can do it from a distance away, no?
Well,
Because it
that's-
is 60 feet.
Let me look it up.
Oh, I'm sorry, I have the card for a reason.
Don't see why not.
So she would cast silence in
Yes.
the room, and then I would do it from.
Before I do, T would also remind you, I can only do this a handful of times. If I come across more things, I can't keep doing it.
I understood.
Kai's just like, he takes a step back from the desk in case anything happens, but he's like, excited.
She'll cast
It's just one of the
silence in the
torches that's
room.
been.
Then I would do.
Alright, you knock and you can see the arcane aura sort of fall off of the drawer.
Can I open it?
You do.
It's not like you did the hard work for it.
In the silence?
You can't hear anything.
I think I'm going to practice my singing.
It is quite beautiful.
It drops and you're like, ah!
T would purposely leave it up until his mouth shut.
You know, the drops these. Oh, yeah.
Fitting instructions calls in there.
Theoretically, could you use your body changing stuff to not have a mouth?
I don't do that anymore, but I guess I could. I switched out my
So,
notifications.
and it is a scroll.
I'll pick up the scroll and unroll it.
Oh no, you cast the spell!
Oh wait, that's probably not a good idea.
So you unroll the scroll, and it appears to be just a set of notes.
What's it say?
What language did you speak?
Not draconic.
Did I say it was in
Okay.
Draconic?
Infernal and common.
You cannot read it.
I wonder if the person who can read every language is gonna.
I think I turned around to ask someone, you're just like right in his face.
I mean, so can as well.
I want to go in the dining
course
hall
so
because there's
can.
probably
Yeah,
food
but it has
there.
a spell. Oh, but don't waste the spell on that.
Let me say,
I'll-
I enjoy it technically.
I'll just like kind of look at it like I'm reading it, like and then hand it to you.
Fen, with
Put on
your
fake reading glasses.
with your eyes of the Runekeeper, you're able to see this is a very unique cipher that this is written in. This is a combination of some very ancient Draconic along with some mixed, like not even like every other word mixed, but like combined with the techniques used in some very old Celestial writings. So make a general yes.
I do have a feat that does work with ciphers, and they're both languages.
Ooh, cool.
Okay. Make an intelligence check as you attempt to read it.
Use a different
It was
D20.
doing so good
You guys are
before.
like rolling ones constantly.
No, it
scaring
was a
me.
9 this time. And
Nine.
intelligence, it's gonna be a flat 10.
Flat 10.
What about a
You're
raise
able
then?
to
I'm just like,
you're able to work through all of it, albeit slowly. It's not technically a cipher is the issue. It is It is its own language that is like a mixture of the two languages. It sort of almost predate both languages themselves.
Yeah,
So
it's
it
like
is sort of
old
its
English,
own
like
thing.
Old, like whatever it is.
Yeah. It's kind of like it's almost got like the Latin effect, where like
Gotcha.
a lot of languages borrow things from Latin, so you're able to think of Latin as like a combination of like these modern languages, but it predated all of them. So Draconic and Celestial were both probably drawn from this language to make their own separate
I just
languages.
thought it was a cipher because you
No.
know, lock drawer. And
Yes.
everything.
You're offended much as a wolf. Shit. we have to
Kai's
keep
just like
this.
over your shoulder.
We have to keep this, Kai. I will pay you to keep this in my library.
All right, so
Okay.
buckle up for some fucking lore. So you got about 3 minutes of this.
Woo.
It reads. Please don't try and copy everything I'm about to say down. I
Okay.
will send this to you after the session.
Okay, I'm not writing shit down. Then.
Yes. Otherwise, you will be copying legitimate paragraphs. It reads, in the beginning of time, there existed no world as we knew it today. There were no people, no cities. In fact, the story we tell begins even before the planes themselves were brought into existence. Long before the great wheels began to turn, there was not even light nor darkness to be found in the universe, merely an absence of time, space, color, and life. A void made entirely of nothingness, until, in a single moment, after hypothetical eons of nothingness, time itself began to turn. And suddenly there was space as well, expanding indefinitely in infinite directions, waiting and wanting to be filled. Streaks of grey spun their webs through space, and soon these strings of colours coalesced to form the purest of blacks, the brightest of whites, and all the shades in between. And from the strongest of these two masses sparked the final reagent that began our world. From the very centres of the two largest masses of colour, hearts began to beat, and so rose the first two beings in the universe. In one being stood Jazirian, a winged and feathered being, made up of colours that covered the spectrum of the translucent rainbow. Jazirian arose as the embodiment of law and goodness, and so it was the sheer will to follow these ideals that allowed her to take her form and find a life in the newly expanding world. In the other being stood Ahriman, a scaled and forked-tongued being made up of hues of the richest blacks, the deepest reds, and the most majestic and royal of violets. Ahriman, it is said, arose as the embodiment of law and evilness, and so it was the sheer will to follow these ideals that allowed him to take his form and find life in the newly expanding world. For a period of time that is now long forgotten, these two colossal beings struggled against each other, and chaos began to reign. But while their differences were always apparent, these were two beings that believed in lawfulness above all else, and so the two titans came together, biting the other's tail, and with the other firmly grasped betwixt their teeth, they began to spin. And as the steady pace turned round, order was brought to the space that lay inside of them. As the twin titans turned, their bodies began to form a natural groove in the cosmos, calling into existence the boundaries of the outer planes. This turning would eventually lead to the creation of the positive and negative planes, and due to the eternal dance of Jazirian and Ahriman, the planes that would rotate alongside the titans, while the negative followed Ahriman, the positive would follow Jazirian. Despite the order inside the circle, however, the two great beings were all too aware of the chaos that loomed outside the boundary of the outer planes, and so they set about to devise a set of laws in order to sow order and lawfulness into the space that they could still control. Seeing how the earlier faults were always due to their differences, the Titans decided that there should always exist a middle in between the two extremes, in order for lawfulness to truly rule. It was thus that there began the laws of three. With three proclaimed as the most lawful of numbers, the two set about creating their laws, of which there was meant to be, of course, three. The first was the law of the unity of the three rings, which stated that all things would repeat themselves in a never-ending cycle. The Titans, however, foresaw, this part is now underlined. The Titans foresaw, however, that a time may come when the cycle needs must stop, and so along with this law, an ancient and all but forgotten prophecy was laid to place. Through the ritual of the eternal blood moon, could the prophecy of the ancient Trinity be evoked to stem the spinning of these rings, as the three rings of these three words circled. Time, space, and fate were halted. The two titans could be brought together through their respective tokens, the Celestian pendant of Jazirian and the Grimoire Drachnomicon of Ahriman. Once together, these two titans would fuse, absorbing the energies of whomsoever held the tokens and becoming one single grand titan. Through the prowess and will of this all, the most ultimate being, could the rings be destroyed, and the energies of the cosmos and all that accompanied it be returned to the void of before, ready to one day, if chance allowed, be made whole once more. That is where it ends.
So do you just like read that out loud?
I guess after, like, I would probably have to decipher it all first, and then I'd go back and read it out loud after, like, I figured it all out.
That's
I'll be like, ooh, we're definitely keeping this.
Most of the last
Yeah.
paragraph is underlined, specifically circled, is ritual of the eternal blood moon, Prophecy of the Ancient Trinity, Rings of Time, Space, and Fate, and then Celestian Pendant and Grimoire Drachnomicon are all circled.
Can I see if I'm familiar with the pendant and the grimoire at all?
Yes, go ahead and roll. Actually, no, you don't need to roll a history check. You wouldn't personally know about any of this. In fact, this is for everybody. All 5 of you. You remember 2 things come to mind to all of you. You okay?
Mm-hmm. So I'm presenting the right one.
Gotcha. 2 things come to mind for all of you. The first is we're down. You guys found that huge lore thing, and with that, you had your circled words. But before you could roll a history check to see if you remembered it, 2 things come to mind of everybody as they listen to this. The first is from your trip out of the Warlock's Crypt when you ran into your mysterious benefactor in the astral plane, who told you to return once you learned everything you could about the rings. That ring is very familiar.
About wheels too.
Yes.
Or is that what they meant?
Kind of what they meant. You see them referred to as both wheels and rings
like
in this.
How do we get back to him?
So,
I have my sand. Remember?
I don't think that was the same place.
Talk about getting back to the bandaged person.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like a bashful sand.
Oh, okay.
How does that help?
Because it's enchanted.
No, that's not who we were talking about. We were talking about your sword.
Oh,
Right?
we were? I thought we were talking about...
Didn't he say to come back after we know about the wheels?
No, he said to come back after like this is all done, I thought.
who is this?
The whatever, so
The one.
the whatever voice was talking to us while I got my unchained vision.
No,
But I
different one.
thought we went the
Oh,
bandaged
okay.
person, right?
Yeah, you
Okay.
you meant the person. This is specifically referring to the person in the bandages who you talked to while you were on the astral plane, where you got the reincarnation dust while you were guys on your way out, and Fen managed to grab some astral sand and was getting it enchanted by.
Tonic and
Yes.
schnapps. And
Who
it'll
said-
be
who said-
back in like 6 weeks, I think.
Yeah, who you guys sent a messenger there in order to. They were going to send an animal messenger to you, to Baldur's Gate, delivering the thing that they made for you,
Yes.
which they said apparently could transport you to the astral plane.
So I got that.
So, the other thing that rings is when all of you guys were brought up that one night to the gardens to talk to Maleficar, the leader of the Black,
guy.
the leader of the Black Rose, who talked to you about his plans to cast down the Titans, take their corresponding tokens, and give humanity control of the rings, the wheels. So that begins to make more sense as you hear this. Gives you a point of reference. So that is everything that you get from that. Is there any? So that was just you investigating the desk. There are still some shelves in there, but that is about it.
I look for a hidden study door.
You can go ahead and look for a hidden door.
After Fendian kind of like.
What?
That's always.
Make an investigation check.
After Fendian reads it out, I'll just be like, they really locked that in a magic drawer? All that for a history lesson?
So that's gonna be 18 to look for a hidden
What?
door.
So you can find a lot.
You are not able to you're not able to find any hidden doors in here or anything like that.
This room's
Dining hall.
Fendian, you can keep this.
Unnatural.
I don't want it.
Oh, okay. I roll it up and I tie it up all nice with some twine.
You said unnatural 20?
Yes, ma'am.
You are able to find among all of the ashes and ruins in the bookshelves, you're able to find a single scroll, a spell scroll that seems to have withstood the test of time. It unfortunately will not have enough information on it for you to figure out the recipe to make it, to copy it into your repertoire of spell scrolls that you can make.
Sorry.
But it can be used like a normal spell scroll to cast a spell once, should you roll the appropriate DC for it. And it is a scroll of Fireball.
Oh,
That's mine.
I'm so angry. I want to find cool stuff and I find fucking history.
that's the cool
Finds-
stuff of the
finds-
That's really useful.
Finds-
I know it's
fin-
important, but
I
Kai
was-
doesn't think it is.
Let's say, finds the lore on how to beat the campaign. Whoa, this is worthless!
It's not me as a player.
Kai throws infinity fucking catches it.
Kai only cares about gold.
Let's see.
No,
Okay.
Yeah, Kai is literally like the 4-year-old opening birthday presents. It's just like toy, blah, toy, blah, $3.50 in a card.
You just spent it all on penny candy.
Sucks.
Do you want this $20 bill, or do you want 10 $1 bills? Kai takes the 10 ones.
Hey!
That's what he's used to.
Oh! Whoa! Man, it's like...
It's cool when there's only one bill.
Yeah, it's like amateur hour up in here. What?
Just on the 3?
Level 3, yes. So, in order for you to use it, you would need to roll a... since you are casting it as a bard, you would need to roll a DC 13 charisma check in order to successfully use it.
Guys, how
That's
much
not too bad.
charisma?
That's
Charisma's
so
not
bad.
that stat.
No, it's not. You almost fooled me.
So,
for
Arwen, you're making your way to the dining hall?
Yes.
So you make your way to the dining hall. There is a broken down table and chairs, a little bit more sand. It looks like in its prime, this would have been absolutely beautiful, but just time is... Yes?
Sorry, that's why I raised my hand to wait until they're done.
Time has absolutely just ravaged this place. There's not too much to be found, but you can make an investigation check to investigate all of the room if you would like.
There's not so much to be found. I'm more interested in the kitchen.
Okay, then we do not
Snacks for Ruth.
we do not investigate the dining hall. And anyway, move on into the kitchen. Sil, first, what were you going to say?
Because I know sometimes like magical scrolls, books, and stuff, they
Yes.
usually have author or someone who made it.
Yes,
Is there any name or anything?
indeed. It is actually the same name that is written upon.
Names are important.
Yes, the same name that is written upon the scroll that Fen read to everybody, and that name is Reciphalam.
What's that? Sorry, I couldn't hear the first part.
Reciphalam.
What is that?
It's a name.
Okay.
Oh wait, let me guess.
R-
RECIPHILAM.
Nope.
Nope.
How
Well, you
about
said
just-
nope already, so.
RAC IF EL AM.
Oh yeah?
AM.
Yeah.
A is in auntie. M is in mother.
I don't know
Can we
too well
decipher
that.
what-
in Monty.
Like, is this like a human name, an elf name?
I'm not
Is there a way for
familiar
us
with
to
that
decipher that
concept.
name?
Make an insight check.
I don't know if that would even be beneficial, but. So it's 12
I feel like in there somewhere.
plus 14.
14. Sounds probably pretentious enough to be Elven.
Okay.
Is there actually what script is it written in?
Same script.
So the mix.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I doubt I would
Yeah.
even know
Right.
who that is.
Alright, so is anyone making their way into the dining hall? Is Arwen makes the way into the kitchen?
I'll check the
Cool.
dining hall too, because I'll be honest, I feel like there's something here hidden in
Make
this
an
space.
make an investigation check. You're actually able to see out a window in the dining hall in the corner there that there appears to be a small courtyard there.
Oh, nice.
Oh, okay.
Now we're way to get out of it, and it's really overgrown with like weird dust, weird like weeds that seem to be thriving in the sand.
You're just making this sound better.
Okay.
What's in the dining hall again?
Ruined table and chairs.
There's no cabinets or anything, just table
I'm
and
looking
chairs.
for hidden doors.
Yes, but you can sort through the ruined table and chairs if you'd like to, which is what Fen is doing.
I don't find anything. I got like 11 total.
I can do that while
11 total.
Yeah.
I'm doing
Alright,
it.
so, you unfortunately don't find anything still. If you would like to, you actually missed the DC by 1. Still, if you would like to make a roll, you can.
Investigation.
Yep.
I'm getting all these good rolls out of the way for combat. 17 plus 5 be 22.
Cool. You're able to find a full bottle of what is labeled in Celestial as Angel's Wine.
What the hell is Angel's Wine?
Because it's really fucking good wine.
We'll
So
find
there
out.
are- There are 10 sips in it. You can take 10 mouthfuls from the bottle. And aside from getting somebody a little intoxicated, a mouthful will also restore 1d4 hit points.
Oh.
That's pretty good.
Glug. Ha! No! I'm so full.
So you're saying is I now need to become
No.
Way of the Drunken Fist.
Exactly.
3 important questions.
Yes.
First, have I ever seen this like in stock at?
Nope.
Okay. Second, have I ever heard of?
Nope.
Yeah. Then the third would answer the second. But it's Sylvan, you said?
What?
It was in Sylvan?
Celestial.
Celestial.
Arwen, you move to the kitchen.
Yes, I
One
did.
thing you're able to find almost immediately, you find a lot of dust and kind of ruined cabinets and ruined countertops.
Dust.
You are able to find a solid silver set of cook's utensils,
Oh
so
no!
cook's tools. It could also be sold if you so wished, but it can also be used as cook's tools to make checks with that. You also find a small metal cabinet that appears to be locked.
It only appears to be.
You try to open it up, and it is locked.
How do I unlock it? You know what? I don't care. I just start shoving my tools in.
You have
there.
battle and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
The rogue with the tools. How do I unlock it? Me.
Not really.
Okay, that's fine. And I was like I said, I would just start shoving my tools in there.
As I was about to say, yeah, as some people kind of like peek their heads into the kitchen, you see Arwen with their thieves' tools kind of go into town on this metal cabinet. Make a thieves' tools check.
I have proficiency in those.
Yep, add your proficiency and your dexterity.
What is my proficiency bonus?
+3.
+3. I didn't write it down on this paper.
Ancient beef jerky.
10.
10 total.
Yeah.
Oh.
So it was a natural
roll
3.
this. No, 7, and then
Your
+10 for the bonus. And did I forget something?
You definitely forget
Dex. I totally forgot my dex. I'm sorry. That's
So-
+4.
So 14 total.
Yeah.
It pops open.
Hella. I'll
Hella.
look inside before. I
Oh wait, did you check for traps?
For traps?
Yes.
I checked for traps in the dining hall. I'm not in the kitchen with Arwen.
No, but I checked to see if it would open.
Well, it was locked, but you didn't check for traps, which is fine because there wasn't any traps on it. I just wanted to give you a little.
Sneaky.
So, you're able to find 5 bottles in here, in this cabinet.
Ooh.
They are
papers.
one. Oh, actually, they're all in. I would imagine. Actually, one of them is in a language you understand. 2 of them, I imagine, are not. But the one that you can understand is this bottle that is, even after all this time, absolutely freezing cold to the touch, to the point where it honestly hurts to touch it directly, and you kind of have to use like a sleeve or a cloth to sort of pick it up. It is like this light, translucent blue turquoise color, like a little bit lighter than like Maddie's roots.
That's a good description.
But in Sylvan, you are able to read that the bottle reads Frost Maiden's Absinthe.
Ooh.
Oh, cool.
Neat.
That seems safe to drink. Shots, anyone?
I mean, have you seen the drinks we drank at Sound
I have the information for that here, but you don't know what it does yet, so I'm going to leave that here. The other two, so there's 2 of those. There's 2 bottles that are like incredibly warm to the touch, almost the opposite of the Frost Maiden's Absinthe. You
That
kind
was
of
one of them?
There were 2 bottles of Frost Maiden's
2
Absinthe.
cold and one of the warm ones?
Nope. There are 2 bottles of Frost Maiden's Absinthe. The next 2 bottles that you see are a deep, like, angry velvet red color. That as you... Actually, no, they're more fire truck red than they are velvet red. And you also need to kind of use a sleeve or a cloth to sort of pick them up just because of how warm they are. You unfortunately are not able to read that. And the last one is sort of like a mix between like silver and like warm, rich brown that you touch and you kind of feel like you can kind of feel almost like it gives off a very pleasant aura, like it makes you feel almost happy just to be touching it.
It's like the copper color.
Now I understand how they got through the war.
Times 1 silver brown. Good vibes.
Yep. So there's one of those. There's 2 warm ones, 2 cold ones. So is anyone else coming in here to investigate Arwen's shenanigans?
I'll pass
I'm
through the kitchen.
trying to
going
break
the
into the
service.
courtyard. Can I just open the window and slide in?
You would just have to shatter the window. Alright, Fen just shatters the stained glass window in order to climb out into the courtyard.
I want to look for animals and any interesting plants that I could possibly procure.
Roll for investigation.
Also, I'll pass through the kitchen and go into the servants'
Oh,
quarters.
that's
Right, you go into the servants'
plus
quarters?
1, so 18.
How you doing over there?
You're very, very confident that there are absolutely no animals in here. For plants, you have 2 small cacti and a bunch of just desert weeds that are just very, like, almost like desert brush. They're just hardy enough to live in the desert off of the limited water that they have, and just not really useful for much. If you're looking for interesting plants, the names that are on these rooms were written on here by Melanthe when she gave them to you, so you would know that one of the places on this map is called Rossi's Garden. So you would
So
know
this
that.
is not this ain't it.
Nah, you would know that there's probably a place to find some cool plants, and this probably ain't it.
Well, out of principle, I'm going to take some of those weeds.
You take some desert weeds.
Get some of
how
those
you doing
Brillo pads.
Yeah. I was gonna say.
How you doing over there, Owen?
We do restore hit points after a short rest, right?
Yes, you do.
Cool, then I'm good. I got some stuff. You want to read it for me?
Sure. I mean, I am
Oh, hell
familiar with quite a few languages.
Cool.
So, what languages do you know?
I know Common, I know Elvish, I know Infernal, I know Sylvan, I know Celestial, and I know Draconic.
Got you. None of these languages ring a bell for you.
I imagine I can
T,
read one.
T, where are you?
I'll like follow Sylvan as he was the last one.
Yeah.
I'll just like glance over his shoulder.
You're able to recognize one of them as it is in Ignan.
Hey,
Right, yeah.
That is a
know
fire.
that.
Yeah, I would say that is a fire primordial. You are able to recognize it as it says a volcanic magma whiskey.
Oh.
Ooh.
yeah, it's gonna come out the same way it goes in.
It is, and it is incredibly hot to the touch. You've actually heard rumors of something like this before. This being like the pinnacle, one of the like crown jewels of Ganassi liquor that is thought to have been lost for centuries. You know that it can fuck you up real hard, real fast, and it's used to kind of like weed out non-Ganassi, because if you're a pussy about it, it will burn you up from the inside out.
And I have 2 bottles
So
of
you
it.
just kind of just like a double shake and she'll just be like, "Can I have that?"
No, I
Oh,
found
no.
it.
Oh.
But it's my people.
But I found it.
Fight to the death over liquor!
Do you either of you know what those potions can do?
They're not
No,
potions. These are
they're-
full on.
Well,
These are
he
these.
does not know.
No, it's not potion.
Yeah.
Bottles.
Okay.
They're full on like
That's a lot.
like this is full on like a fifth of something. Like
I'm-
this is
I'm saving
Well, then you
all.
say what these bottles do.
I'm saving all the weird fancy bottles of alcohol for when it's not dangerous to be intoxicated.
Well, I was
I'm
also
not going to drink it now.
I'm gonna put it in my infinite pocket.
I was also
for
just going to
safekeeping.
suggest that when we have a moment where we can do it, I can identify all of them to see if there's any magical properties.
You hear somebody crunching through the glass the whole
I don't know. They look like alcohol to me, but if it becomes a thing,
But
there's
remember,
yes,
we
one
had
more
alcohol
unidentified
drinks at
bottle,
Sandra's.
that is correct.
Is
that
it in the
had
Orcish
magical
by
Nope.
chance? Okay.
Like, he'll open up the wine, he found, like, this has magical abilities, and so drink.
right? So we don't drink any of it until we ask Sandra what it is.
I just... Okay.
I'll eventually come in, and I have like a bunch of weed sticking out of my pocket. We're making out like bandits.
Now I gotta go find. I'm gonna go hop out the window and ask
Great.
Fen what the other ones say.
Fen actually came in through the
I'm
window.
like halfway through the window. I'm like, good. Guess what I found?
Suddenly
hello,
knows.
Hi. Hey, check out this bottle, and I'll show you the one bottle that hasn't been identified.
I put on my reading glasses that I don't need again.
So it is in deep speech.
Ooh, I haven't seen or heard this language in quite some time.
These speech not have written?
Now it does.
It's in an old form of deep
Okay.
speech.
Maybe it's like if
Deeper
like
speech.
when you write like Russian words.
It's just because of where this particular bottle originates from.
Okay.
You would be able to recognize the name as Astral Sugar Rum.
That
Ooh,
sounds fun.
It's space rum.
And as you touch it, it just like you touch it and just like serotonin releases in your brain. It just makes you feel pleasant by holding this.
Huh. That's dangerous.
Can I get me one of those in real life?
Me too.
So,
Man, I will insert all of these
in the
bottles
servants'
my
corner,
pocket.
you see a lot of ruined beds and chests.
So this is a stretch,
Yeah.
but Kai, because of his mother, would have
Yes.
lived in servant quarters at some point. So would I
Yes.
know like certain places where people would like hide stuff?
Make an investigation check.
Don't roll one.
Are your dice
You
again?
find like a secret bed compartment.
Oh man, this could finally be Kai's time to release some serotonin in his brain.
One.
Ew.
Oh, I'm dropping.
Patty goes, chill out, guys. I was poor once. I know how to handle this.
7. Looks like a
So
one.
one with a handle.
Alright. So
I'm
is
just
any-
not about to
Dice
get
box
anything
has
ever
bad
again.
juju.
is-
that one.
I'll bless it. But is anybody else
Roll
investing?
on this
I'll
side.
look for
Is that-
some more secret doors.
You're just looking for secret doors specifically.
Yep.
All right, cool. Roll with advantage.
I would start making my way out of the room too.
I'll follow behind, so.
So no one else is going to investigate the servants' quarters.
Well,
And then
he would see that
that's-
these two have it.
Oh, I'm going. I was gonna go help
19
and roll.
for investigation for any.
No secret doors,
passages.
unfortunately.
Anyone want to help me?
So Arwen, roll investigation
I
as you
can't
investigate
find
the
it.
servants' corner.
Shoot. That's a full 11. That's what that is.
Plus
Investigation.
investigation.
You're pretty good at that.
14.
14.
Uh-huh.
You kind of look under one of the chests that Kai already looked under, and for whatever reason, you're able to find a jade dragon figurine
Hey.
worth 100
right.
worth 100 gold pieces.
Sounds about fucking right.
Look,
No, just kill my character. It's fine.
I literally saw that and I was like, I'm gonna make the DC halved because Kai has lived, like, is familiar with Serpent's Quarter, so that's why he'll finally get something that costs money.
One feels. I'm making that joke twice because it really sucked. Good.
It's like funny, but I'm also like legitimately actually upset right now.
You guys, I'm finding so many cool rocks lately.
Ooh, this is a very interesting. Do you think this is a natural formation? I look at the clearly carved jade dragon.
I'll be like, I'll realize what's going on, and I'll be like, yeah, totally. Where do you think
like
they?
it was tumbled around in a river.
Where do you think these kinds?
What do you think about it, Kai? I hold it up.
Kai, do you
It's not
think
worth
the
anything.
river?
It's just a useless rock. I'll hold on to it for you. I'll throw it
Oh,
out.
it's my shiny.
Maybe we could use it as a spell component.
I imagine he's like actually visibly frustrated that like he can't find anything.
I'm finding so much
So
stuff.
as you guys make your way back to the grand foyer, which way are you heading towards? You heading into the
Well, I went to
ballroom?
the ballroom.
Okay.
So you guys are heading to the ballroom?
No.
Okay, so we're splitting the party, is what you're saying.
Yes.
I don't want to split the party, so I'll just go wherever the general consensus
Okay,
goes.
we won't split the party.
Oh,
Alright, so you guys go to the
I
you guys go to the ballroom. Go to the ballroom. Go to the ballroom. All you in the ballroom. Put everybody in the ballroom.
I want to make this easy for Liz.
Fuck me, dude. Alright. See you at the ballroom.
Ah, you wasted it.
Is that a natural? Hey, at least you know the top of the box is better for you, at
I
least.
think I could drown myself in this cup of water.
Yes.
Maybe.
You're
Only-
an infant.
You can drown.
It was filled up all the way.
Technically, you can drown in 3 inches of water if you lay face down and breathe for a while.
Wow, so the ballroom.
I'm just gonna
Anyway.
just drink it.
Wait, well, if you're like, I mean, that's not how drowning works.
So the main
That's why you
thing
drink it.
The main thing that you're able to see in the ballroom, aside from the, once again, very gilded floors and beautiful, like, what probably was once a beautiful chandelier kind of sits smashed on the ground.
Sad.
The remainders of seems to be like multicolored glass and silver. That said, there is, alongside this wall, towards the courtyard that you were just in, Fen, there is a beautiful, probably 30-foot tall and maybe 60-foot wide, solid piece of stained glass,
Ooh.
depicting the 16 outer planes.
Cool.
How does it depict them? Like, is it like part of it is like just like
Maybe like
the
each
material?
pane.
That's what I mean. Like, is it like
And they kind of all flow into each other, the ones that sort of sit next to each other. With Arcadia being seen on one end, and the other bookend being Mount Celestia, and sort of flowing all in between.
I have a question.
Yes.
So that scroll that I have, that's in that like ancient draconic celestial combo.
Uh-huh.
Would it be possible for me, like, if I took the time, would it be possible for me to like figure out the words to like write them and then say them out loud in that language? Because I'm thinking maybe there's like some secret stuff that has to be like opened up in that language. Would I be able to like reverse decipher to like?
It would take some time, but you could certainly try.
I'm not doing it right now, but I just want to know if that was.
I could
Yes.
possibly help too because I know.
Yeah,
both
there's-
those.
But yes, there's also just
Good
some
idea.
obviously destroyed tables and whatnot in the ballroom as well. Does anybody like to do anything in the ballroom?
Check
Very
out the
well, Faz.
tables.
Two just sign of like age, or like there was a struggle here.
Mainly just signs of age.
I'm gonna look under all the crash tables.
Gotcha. Kai, you gonna try again?
Yes.
Oh wait,
Alright.
let's ballroom dance together, but we're like testing different floor tiles to see if they sink in for anything.
Alright, R1 and Kai, make an investigation check for me.
8.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm
something.
dumb. I am dumb.
5.
5.
I did not see the sign, so I was like, "What's 11?"
11?
Gosh,
8.
8 total?
Yeah.
Alright, so they both look like they're struggling a little bit, though Kai eventually does find, similar to Arwen's, 2 non-broken crystal wine flutes, worth 25 gold pieces apiece.
I found those too.
So now I have a set of 4 wine flutes.
Now we've got
Is
a
any-
whole collection.
Is anyone else looking for anything in particular? There's also a small ruined stage in one corner set up You can kind of see like the remains of a 2 or 3 music stands over there.
Have
I know I'm familiar with music, so I would.
anything?
Yes. What?
Have I recognized anything yet from like my dream?
As you walked up, all of you recognized, like, yeah, this was definitely the place that I saw myself going into. You recognized one of the first flashes being the grand foyer and the stairs there, and then down the stairs, and then there were a few more flashes after that you saw. So you can kind of figure out that the places that the 3 of you are looking for are probably on floors located deeper below, though it might be.
Are these things stairs?
Yes, they are.
Okay, so we just walked right past a set of stairs.
That is correct. You did.
Okay.
I'll like break off some like the dangly bits of the chandelier just to like keep
Cool.
in case I think I can make anything
Make an
out of them
investigation
later.
check.
We're just getting souvenirs.
I can make
Look
some
at
out
these
of
desert weeds.
I'm telling you, they're gonna come in handy.
I don't know what that is.
That's funny.
Natural 20.
That's about right.
You find a flute, not a champagne flute, but an actual playable flute. Since it's a natural 20, you're able to immediately, like, you've been around rich people your whole life pretty much, and even you are a little taken aback by the opulence of this flute. It is made of solid platinum,
Ooh.
and all of the mouthpiece and all of the keys are literally just like imbued with solid sapphires. That said, aside from it being worth, in your guesstimation, probably somewhere in the realm of between 1,300 and 1,500 gold pieces, it is giving off a magic aura. So it seems to have some sort of arcane property that is still functioning on it. You are just not entirely sure what it does. You would have to identify it in order to figure it out.
Kukai crying for the rest of the strip.
Yeah, specific.
Looking
I think realizing how much that costs, he would,
Yeah.
in character, he would
Yes.
cast it.
I was going to say, what, identify?
You're using the bottom.
As a ritual or just as a spell slot?
I would say, like, he
Yes.
just thinks in character, so you.
All right, so you're able to specifically notice that there's 4 diamonds along the flute that is that are like glowing, almost with like a light blue energy, sort of from the middle of them themselves. This is the flute of healing. It has 4 charges on it. It regains 1 charge every dawn, and as you play the flute, you can use 1 charge to cast Healing Word, and you can expend all 4 charges to cast Mass Healing Word. Healing Word is cast at 1st level, and Mass Healing Word is cast at 3rd level, obviously. Okay, so there's a healing flute. But you can also obviously sell it if you wish to.
We could melt it down and use the diamonds in this.
If
It will then obviously lose its
We give
magical
ourselves
properties.
arrows.
If all 4 charges are used,
Yes.
is it destroyed?
No.
Or loses magic property?
Nope, it does not. It simply regains 1 charge a day, so it will be 4 days before it has all 4 charges again. So, but after that, you guys feel pretty confident that you've shifted through the ballroom. Is there anything else you'd like to do?
I give Kai a piece of chandelier glass. It's the little things that count, Kai.
Yes.
Because I know Lucian's with us. How's he?
Like, is he recognizing anything? Does he seem, like, drawn to anything?
He
like
just
stuff it into his pocket.
based on the studies that he has had over the course of his life, the history lessons, he's definitely intrigued by both the murals and now by the stained glass, and he's kind of like going through all of them and sort of just like kind of like looking at each individual plane and its depiction and kind of like giving a nod before moving to the next one. He also seems like definitely a little bit on edge, as he kind of is all like kind of keeping like an eye out. You can guess maybe for the thing that he is here for specifically.
I don't know about you all, but I'm quite excited about that garden when we get to it.
Yes, because I will
I
say
want to collect some herbs and things if they
the other
grow
two
up.
the other 2 pages that you would have for this is for the Library of the Divine stairs. You would have this as a map, which literally she just dictates that there is a holding chamber down the stairs and does not know what comes after.
Old library.
At the bottom of the stairs below the grand foyer, it opens up into a holding chamber with a door that goes downward that she doesn't know exactly what it went to, a door to the left, you don't know what it went to, a door upwards into a room that she doesn't know what it is, but the reason that she knows it's there is because there is a room then below on this 2nd floor down in the corner called the Chronograph Conservatory, which that is where the artifact that Lucian has been researching lies.
Hey Kai,
I think for
do you want
flavor,
to trade those champagne flutes for
so-
my Jade Dragon?
so would
We'll
take
do
some of the
that.
sheets
Oh,
of
hell
music
yeah.
because
Sorry,
now
what?
I have 4
I think out
champagne
of flavor,
flutes.
so we take some of the sheets of music because it's probably music. That
There are no sheets that survived
Oh,
all
okay.
this time.
How much was the
Unfortunate.
Yeah.
dragon worth? 'Cause we
100
just traded-
gold.
100 gold pieces.
I wanted the other 2 champagne flutes, so I
Underst-
could have 4.
Understandable. Now that you have all 4, they're worth. I'm kidding.
500 gold.
They all start glowing and magically fill with alcohol every time you drink from them.
No, they just start magically filling with platinum pieces.
Well, I don't know about you all. I think I'm going to head into the kitchen. The other big one.
The main kitchen.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'm gonna
I would
check
die
that
of
out.
heartbreak.
So as you head into the main kitchen, once again, a lot of ruined cabinets, ruined countertops, things like that. There is similar to the private kitchen. There is a locked metal cabinet, and there is also a potion actually sitting directly on like below one of the ruins countertops.
Can I investigate the potion?
Yes, it is like a brown color with sort of gold bubbles bubbling through it.
I will pocket that.
You pocket that? Not sure what it does though.
Yeah,
You'd have to
I
identify
don't
it,
plan
yeah.
on using it until we get like
You just
back to
knock it
Baldur's
back.
Gate.
Yeah. So, but there is a second locked metal cabinet.
I'll be like, hey, Arwen,
Can I unlock it?
can I have my dice back?
No.
Make an investigation check.
You make it with my dice.
Sorry, make a thieves tools check.
Just be careful.
5, 6, 19. I can't
19.
tell. 19.
Hey,
Huh?
My hands help.
So 19
Thieves
plus
tools,
3 is
plus
22.
3, plus I'm proficient.
Yeah, so plus 3 is 22, plus 4 is 26. Yeah, that you spend about 3 or 4 seconds just like and just
Oh,
opens it up like comically
those
fast.
ancient locks, am I right?
So,
I did it.
from the previous cabinet, you're able to recognize 3 additional bottles of Frost Maiden's Absinthe, puts you up to 5 total. 3
I
additional
want one.
3 additional bottles of Volcanic Magma Whiskey, putting you up at 5 total. 2 additional bottles of Astral Sugar Rum, putting you up at 3 total. And 4 new bottles. One is, I'll say the first one is written in Celestial, for whoever wants to attempt to take a crack at that. You can read that, if they know it.
I just read it.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Alright,
something
so,
like that.
Syl, I'll say Syl and Fen, because Celestial is one of the languages that you actually know without casting Comprehend Languages, right?
I can speak it.
Right. So you are able to read that it is a type of wine, an ice wine, an ice wine in particular, entitled "Will of the Divine."
Ooh.
It is silver. It is, and it swirls inside like quicksilver, just like constantly, just like.
These people like to drink.
There's a single bottle of that. Up next is actually one that T and Fen would be able to read the title of, as it is an Aquan. And it is called Gin of the Cryophoenix.
Ooh, Chi, do you want this one? And I'll just like grab it and hand it to her.
It is like a deep sapphire blue with bubbles and sparkles of like a lighter blue going through it.
Gin of the what?
Gin of the Cryophoenix.
One word? Cryophoenix?
Cryophoenix is one word, yes. It means a phoenix of ice.
I would just put it in my bag.
I just
like
want-
how they cryo for his little, what's his name's head?
Sure.
I just
yes.
want one bottle of the absinthe.
Oh.
His name.
Right.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Um,
well, Disney.
Yeah, I'd say somebody just keep track of how many bottles you have in total, just so that way we don't lose any of them here. The next one would be written in, I would say, a form of ancient pre-primordial that T you would recognize, and Fen you're kind of trying to like do the same thing you did with the scroll, like kind of like.
It like takes a while.
Yeah, I
to
was going to say
decipher.
take a while to find it out, but T, you're able to actually get it first, and it is just simply entitled Elemental Chaos Brew. It is red, and then it kind of swirls, and all of a sudden it's blue, and then it kind of swirls, and all of a sudden it's green, and then it kind of swirls, and all of a sudden it's purple.
That
just
one
kind
I'll
of-
hand to you.
And it just kind of continuously does that. You would know, you would have heard of this before, you have no idea what it does, but you would have heard, like,
Like it makes it breathe fire.
this is...
And then water.
Whereas the other drinks were like, oh man, this is like some of the best stuff that Ganassi ever created. Like this is the pinnacle of like alcohol and liquor that ever came from the entirety of the elemental plane, from all of the elementals ever.
I just imagine like Fen's like struggling to get it together. I'm like elemental chaos brew.
Honestly, I couldn't get the sound out.
And finally, the last is written in It's a combination of... Fen, make an intelligence check for me.
It's Elvish and Sylvan. Let's go.
Okay, so 20 unnatural.
20 unnatural?
Abyssal.
It takes you about 5 minutes of trying to piece this together, because it is, once again, not a cipher, but just a pre-language that consists of pieces of about 25% celestial, 25% draconic, 25% infernal, and 25% abyssal. And you find they're able to piece together. It is solid black, with no sparkles or bubbles or anything, and it is simply a brew entitled The End of All Things.
Whoa.
I don't think it's. I think you drink this if you want to kill yourself.
Yeah.
It's just
No.
side straight fire.
I was about to say, you are able to piece together from the bottle. It does appear to be for consumption, just
But for
not
food,
not for the faint of heart.
Since
But
I'm
it is
in
possible
the,
to drink it and not die. I will
Since I'm
say.
in the cabinet first, do I get first?
I
pick
didn't
of all
write it
these?
down.
I would say you guys are able to transport them however you want. Somebody just keep track of how many bottles of each of these things you have, just so we don't have like a split inventory.
Oh,
sort
I've
of.
got it. I'm writing them down as we
Cool.
go.
Excellent.
One
But that is
bottle of the ice main absinthe.
Yes.
That's all I wanted.
yes, that is everything that you are able to find in the main kitchen.
To the bathhouse, I suppose.
Could we at some
Yay.
point go to the Library of the Divine? I'm quite curious.
Oh,
Yeah, we gotta go around
absolutely.
this way, I think.
Yeah.
If you'd like to, you
Kind
can
of gone through the foyer, but
Yes.
I figured
Right.
we were just
Save the best
clearing
for
the
last.
floors as we go.
But as you head into the bathhouse, there's a lot of cracked, empty tubs that were previously made of crystal. You're able to see like some arcane sort of stones that appear to absorb heat very well and continue to attract it so that it can heat the tubs. The other thing is the roof is made of stained glass. And
That's
this is rather interesting. As let me
How the fuck do
The-
you spell ceiling? Is it E-I or I-E?
I
I before E except after
After
C.
C.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So EI.
but okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So
Just S-E-A-L.
Huh?
S-E-A-L.
no.
S-E-A-L.
Seal. That's who.
So, as you look up towards the ceiling, it is made of solid stained glass, and whereas the other room depicted kind of all of the planes in a line, this is a circle, where...
Oh, will it? Sorry.
What?
Nothing.
This is a circle, since the ceiling is sort of, this part of it is sort of square. It is about a 40 foot by 40 foot, actually no, it's probably about a 60 foot by 60 foot piece. And in a circle, in their corresponding, like, Mount Celestia at the top, the Abyss at the very bottom, and everything else sort of in between. This depicts the faces of the gods that were chosen to rule over the 16 outer planes, and is actually dated at 1 DE. So...
Wait, how would they be able to make that in like a year? Holy shit!
So like,
it is labeled 1DE, so you could put this as these are the faces of, since if the stories are to be believed, the 16 gods that rule the 16 outer planes were at one point just humanoids, and they were picked as the paragon of what the plane represented and assigned to be a god to rule over it. But this shows their faces. You could take a stab in the dark and say the faces at the time of their appointment. So you can kind of see just the gods' faces as they look very, not entirely godlike yet, more humanoid than godlike.
do I recognize Vistra?
Yes, actually you do. You would see just kind of like a proper hands folded down in front of her tunic, a light smile on her face, and like platinum blonde hair in light curls just kind of tumbled down her shoulders. A young looking high elven woman that just is kind of like giving like a polite smile to...
Okay. Just to make
Downright.
sure I cover my bases, I don't recognize anyone else, right?
Is Shar up there?
Yes, Shar is up there.
I'm gonna beep 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 in my mind. Hey, recognize her? Almost
That's when you get. That's when you get smited.
Oh no, my baby pictures.
Like, I'll roll for it if you want me to, but T's just like, oh, please don't let me recognize anyone else.
I
There's my dad.
I was to say, yeah,
see my mom.
You would see a Shar ruling over Carceri, and you would be able.
Jail.
Yeah, I was to say you would be able to see a very pale high elven woman just sort of giving like a sort of half smirk, kind of like arms crossed, just a cloak of pure black, or just like icy gray eyes, just sort of piercing.
Yeah, I'll see if I can page her in my head. Be like, you couldn't even smile for it, huh?
You get a feeling between annoyance and a chuckle through your connection with your god.
His glass just starts cracking.
And interestingly enough, you're able to see she's right in between at the time, a surprisingly pretty drow woman with bright white hair and like lilac purple eyes, sort of giving like a soft smile as it is lol.
I just look at her and was like, my back on me.
But she looks surprisingly
Nice.
soft. As compared to the other side, which is a very like rugged sort of jawline and just sort of like a grimace on the face, blood red eyes of a human, Bale, who you can tell that this is old because Bale, after his shenanigans in Baldur's Gate, was actually dethroned as a god and cast into wherever he was cast to and was replaced with Umberly. But yes, Selune, you are able to see over the Beastlands. You would see a half-elven woman with like really pretty sort of wavy brown hair and bright green eyes, just sort of giving like a full smile. In her portrait, she's wearing robes of like light brown and bright green, and just has like the same kind of pose as Mistra, just arms kind of folded lightly in front of her.
Same as TM, checking to see if I recognize any other faces.
You would recognize a few from your studies. Let's say like I was to say like as you turn towards like next to Selune or Borea, you would recognize the High Elf Sehanine Moonbow. You recognize Bale, obviously. You're able to recognize Asmodeus and Bator, the Nine Hells.
So no one that would have met in my past.
No, not aside from Mistra. The only other one that kind of cuts like a very striking figure is in Pandemonium. You would see her Fortress of Memories sort of like pictured behind her, which cuts a very interesting black sort of background to her stark white skin color. Is a high elf in dark robes that almost seem to feather off of her shoulders, and sort of just like a shit-eating grin on her face. You recognize the Raven Queen.
So like, I didn't hear it. Like, I don't recognize anyone, right? I start to panic as you went around to everyone else and ignored my question.
I mean, from when you feel a certain connection when you look at Mistra, as she has spoken to you in person before, and you're able to kind of like look at it and see it, and you're just like, shit, that was her.
Yeah.
You definitely get that feeling. Same, you do as well. You kind of like look at Mistra, and it looks exactly like the face that spoke to you not even a day.
More so like I saw that, made that connection, and went, oh fuck, and start checking the other ones to make sure I haven't like met any of those other people.
Ah! Make an insight check.
Christ.
That's right, Rax is Bale.
So natural 17.
It's Lucian.
So...
That's why he's here.
I turn around, Lucian has like a gun to my temple.
It was me.
Unnatural 20.
Dio.
That's a good one.
Not particularly.
Well, we're missing a d20. Whoever finds it gets a bag of goldfish crackers. What?
I mean, for real.
And then,
So I don't recognize anyone else.
nope, no, you do not.
It's somewhere behind me. I'm gonna have to get it later, but I don't. It's somewhere.
I don't see anything.
It's
What?
somewhere.
Oh.
I don't know.
It's antechamber time. Dan 10. Let me have this.
I'm kissing
I
from
thought you asked if it was
Real
answer
roll
every
one.
time.
Alright, so no one else is investigating anything in the,
I would. If
Actually,
they're not
yeah,
going- Oh,
there's nothing else to find in here. Sorry, I got ahead of myself and looked at the wrong room.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah,
So,
I'll,
everyone heads into the antechamber and sees Oddly, completely devoid of any furniture.
Oh.
Calm down.
Sad.
But she said
There is
Anything suspicious?
on the walls to the left side, like so. If we're looking at that wall,
Okay.
Left side mural of chromatic dragons. Right side mural of metallic dragons.
So like that, right?
Yep.
Okay.
On this wall, there is a mural of the moon cycles.
Interesting.
And there are pieces of stained glass sort of carved in the top that look like they are carved in different cycles of the moon and seem like, as the sun is kind of setting, like the sun at one point sort of hits the sun glass and sort of stained glass rather, and sort of shines in that pattern down onto the floor. So it seems like it's kind of meant to capture the light in certain ways.
Can I look at the floor
When
in
the
that
moon
spot?
is in. What?
Can I look at the floor in that spot?
You do, it's very bright.
I'm going to
Nothing
take out my
unusual?
journal and draw this.
No. If anyone would, what?
I was gonna say, so we'll take out his journal and just draw them because that's really beautiful.
Yes.
Ooh, I have an idea.
Yes, what is your idea?
So I don't know if I can do this, but concept. I cast darkness where like the sun's coming through, and then I cast dancing lights to like imitate where the moonlight would come in and see if it affects anything in the room. I don't know if that's something that I could do.
You cast, no, because they're both concentration.
Is anybody else in the darkness? Or dancing lights or light?
Can I look on the ground around where it might
She
be
does.
don't think so.
She's not gonna want to do it since she just cast silence, and she'll be almost out of key points.
Oh.
I have thaumaturgy, so I can
We
cause
can-
flames to flicker.
You kind of like look around. There doesn't seem to be anything odd about the floors here.
We still have
Oh
plenty
wait,
of
I
room.
could also try
There
it at
is-
nighttime.
I was going to say there is like a carved section of solid like stone and metal directly in the middle that you can assume might be some kind of door, but there's no mechanism to open it up. It is just flat against the wall.
I'm gonna run at it.
Run right at it and you bounce right off
This
it.
is like that
What
room
does it look like?
the
It doesn't
library
look like it has a
had.
way to get in or out. What do you say?
It is flat, flush against the wall with no mechanism that you can grab onto. It is just smooth.
Might be something in a different room that opens it.
Yes.
I think it'll open if I kick it hard enough.
You kick it and it does not open. Still.
Dumb question.
Yep.
But since we were like outside traveling for a few days in the desert.
Yep.
Would I know if the ceiling up ahead, would the moon be there at night? Like to bring down like moonlight.
You would know that tonight is a full moon.
But would I know would it like stream down through here, or would it be?
It might, based on the way the moon is. The moon does go overhead every night.
Alright, I definitely want to like while we're like
I'll
getting ready to
tell you
restaurant.
that.
Yeah, I definitely want to like study this room and see what happens in it. If anything
Would-
significant
What's the
happens.
mystery
Is
room?
this like?
Sweet, that's the.
Could there be more beyond it, or
Oh,
was it just a
okay.
room?
We can't get
That's
in there.
that's the flush door.
Shrug City, my dude.
Alright, so
We'll
garden
have to come back to this.
We could assume that's it.
Put a pin in that.
So, what next?
What shrug city
Gardens.
What?
like? I said, what's shrug city like?
Yes, I'm very
It's awful nice
interested
this
in
kind of
it.
year.
Why am I
I wanna.
I was like, that's not you.
Wait, is the mural across from the mystery door?
The mural of the moons are across the mystery door.
We have to come back when the moon is up so
Why?
we can let the moon unlock the door.
That's why I was saying.
So you got-
Right. Sorry.
So,
Yeah, I'm thinking that like the moon has something to do with that.
so you guys go to the gardens?
Yeah.
Excellent.
Oh, I'm coming too.
So you step outside. It is, for the most part, very overgrown with weeds and cacti and different things like that. But it is surprisingly green. As you get to one corner, it is actually you get to that corner. It's the corner that Fen is currently closest
Okay.
to. And there is a nice little like 20-foot by 20-foot patch where in the center there is about it stands out a lot. There's about a 20-foot tall sycamore tree, and underneath it is just a patch of beautiful white blue moon lilies.
Ooh, I'm taking some of those.
Do
I know anything about them?
They are a flower that's very pretty, and they are known to have some slight restorative properties.
Ooh, I want some too.
I'll pick one, but I don't know if like they die or
Oh
something.
no.
And as-
I'll let Fen do it first.
And as you reach down to pick one, unseen by you so far, from behind the tree, you would just hear, please don't take them, if you would.
Oh my, okay, sorry, who's that? Where are
As you look
us?
up, you can kind of see peeking out from behind the tree a face, and hair made entirely of like bright green leaves that you would recognize as a dryad. It's kind of just very like cautiously sort of peeking around the tree at you.
Oh my gosh, I won't touch them, don't worry, it's no problem. Hello, we didn't think anybody would
I'm
be
a dryad
here.
character, so I'm like,
Hey,
I'm
we're
gonna
looking
start
for this
sketching.
thing. Do you know where this thing that's real magic is?
To be fair, there are a lot of things in this place that are very magical, but I do not venture inside of this building itself. I merely reside in the gardens. It is my duty to take care of the moon lilies and see them grow.
Since when?
Well, I suppose it's been about... Well, this place was constructed almost directly after the humanoids came to this world.
I let her know what year it is too, in case that helps.
And the Archmage here at one point summoned me from the Feywild in order to care for the gardens. It's been harder in recent times as the magic fades and I have no access to water, but
Aw.
let's see, if memory serves, I was brought here during the first year of the Dragon Era, and if you are telling me it has been how many years since the
well, I don't know when the
Cataclysm?
Dragon Era ended, but it's been at least 1508 since the Cataclysm.
Well, the Dragon Era ended once the Cataclysm happened, and the Cataclysm, I believe, if I'm correct, happened in 3517 Dragon Era. So, doing my math,
Does anyone remember our side wonky dream? What year it was?
The
I
our dream?
The wonky.
I suppose that would place me here for the last 5,025 years.
Oh, that was quite some time.
Yes.
Remember the wonky dream we had for the Wacky Wednesday?
I'll find it. I know.
I wasn't
We
there for
all
that.
changed races.
Mm.
What year was it? Because it was
She doesn't
definitely like
have any
30.
water.
What?
She doesn't have any water.
Well,
What is your name?
829.
Okay, thank
Yes. Oh. My name is Solstice.
you. Could you?
Solstice.
oh my god, I feel so bad for her. I'm gonna give her my extra water skin. This is all I have.
She kind of takes it and sort of...
I was gonna do it too.
Is it really okay if I use this?
Oh, it's fine. We have plenty more water, and if
She
I
kind
die,
of actually walks up to the flower that you were about to pick and sort of dumps the water onto the ground there, and sort of like weaves her hand as you kind of see like green magic sort of wave about her hands, and as she like pulls them up, you're able to see 4 new moon lilies sort of sprout up directly, sort of like surrounding that moon lily, sort of expanding the range of her moon lily garden by a couple of inches, and she kind of bows and thanks you.
Why don't you leave?
I am bound to this place, and it is my duty to take care of the gardens.
Do you want us to undo that?
I don't necessarily know that it is something that can be undone. And plus, I do wish to see this garden be beautiful once more. If it,
we'll help you.
if it would not be too much trouble to ask, at some point before you leave, if you could perchance bring any water that is found in the interior to me, I would be greatly appreciated.
How far can a dryad move from its tree?
Not particularly far. Certainly not when the tree and the nature here is as weak as it is.
What happens if a sapling was taken from a tree and planted elsewhere?
Then I suppose that I could move there as well.
Could it be possible I can take a sapling from its tree then?
If you are able to bring me a sufficient amount of water for me to work on the tree, I can possibly have it produce a sapling for you to take, absolutely.
Maybe we could get the bathhouse working again. Perhaps whatever system runs water in there could be run
That's
again.
what I'm thinking, but more than likely we have to go to where the plumbing is.
Or we could take a sapling back to our gardens in the tower.
That's what I was thinking.
But we need water for it.
We need water first to get it.
No, it may be a huge trip for you, but it is a desert wasteland almost. This place is abandoned, but we actually know of a place called Baldur's Gate. Where,
I am familiar with this location.
there is a garden area that is taken care of by a very powerful wizard. The last one in Baldur's Gate. It would be safer. You'll be able to live in a garden that's very beautiful and be able to meet people again.
Bring moon lilies with you.
If this could be done, then I suppose that would be appreciated. Well, until then, I will continue to look over this garden. I thank you all. And she kind of gives a polite bow before kind of like disappearing back behind the tree.
Wait, does
Did
there
you
any
see-
flowers we're allowed to take?
No,
Curious question.
Yes.
don't take her
Because I've been studying
flowers.
her
She
now,
just
been
made
sketching.
them.
Her. Does she seem like young? Because I know like Dryads can look from like the younger they are.
She looks fairly young, yes.
Interesting.
So library?
Yes. So
I'm,
we're
like,
totally
talking
moving
about-
the Dryad, right?
Yeah, I'm like talking about that.
We're gonna go our own lilies on the roof and also
Alright, so you move into the library.
dry on our roof.
That'd be so cool though.
So as you move into the library, there are ruined desks, ruined chairs, a lot of moldy tomes and knocked over shelves. But you can certainly look through if you want to look for anything specifically, or just look for things in general. You certainly can.
This is the one that only had the one room underneath, right?
Yes.
So you would just go looking down there because the books don't interest her.
Are there rows of bookshelves?
A lot of them are knocked over. So
Oh,
you
I was
could-
gonna say, can
you
I
could-
push one and like a domino effect?
no, they're all already fallen.
I want to look for weird, wacky books like the stuff that I have in my library already, but old.
Make an investigation check.
I'll just generally look around for anything that would interest
Make an investigation
I
check.
want really
Ooh.
thick books bound with shininess.
Make an investigation check.
19.
Hey, Sil, do
Yes.
you want to do anything?
Yes. I'll
Make an investigation check.
Okay, I was gonna be looking for specific things.
Okay, like what?
I'll let them go through their things.
19.
19. All right. You are actually able to find a fairly thick book that turns out to be a wizard's tome.
Ooh.
If you take the time to read it, which would be about 6 hours. Actually, no, about 8 hours. You could technically, if you were a wizard, copy any of these spells into your spellbook, but alas, none of you are wizards, so that will not be the case.
Gift for something.
Thanks for letting us look here.
Book.
But if you spend 8 hours reading it, it will teach you the cantrip Firebolt.
Ooh!
Aside from that, it has in it, as far as spells go, you could use these as scrolls, or you could copy them down in your spellbook if you are a wizard. But I will send you later all the spells that are in here. I will just read them off for now, but they contain Charm Person, Detect Magic, Featherfall, Mage Armor, Identify, Chromatic Orb, and Shield as first level spells. It also contains the second level spells Aganazar's Scorcher, Burning Hands, Knock, Mirror Image, and Scorching Ray.
Wow.
I could possibly mix recipes from those.
They do have things that would be sufficient for you to add them to a recipe repertoire, rather, if you took the time to do that. Audie, what did you roll?
19 as well.
19. You are actually able to find you're actually able to find a book detailing some pretty interesting facts from the Dragon War and some of the different battles that were fought and some of the different formations that were used. It seems to be a detailed enough account where you can kind of confirm that the Dragon War was not just a fable, but an actual thing that did happen in this world. I'll send you that information later as well. Kai, what'd you roll?
18.
18? All right. So you are able to find 3 usable spell scrolls as you are looking about. The first, you find a scroll of invisibility. The second, you are able to find a scroll of mass healing word. And third, you are able to find a scroll of lightning bolt.
Lightning bolt.
So what were you looking for?
Well, it'll be 4 things now. I would look for anything with, I'm going to butcher these names. Ossiphone, the one that the scroll of Fireball, look for anything with name related to that, like written, pen,
Gotcha.
that. One from Arianel.
Okay.
The third thing would be from the antechamber, like, you know, the moon cycles, stuff
Yes.
like that. You know, if that ties to the weapons of fate. And the fourth specific thing would be our Dryad companion, possibly looking for an easier way to.
Gotcha. Roll. Investigation. So you get down there, and it is just a small, like 15 foot by 15 foot stone room with 3 doors
Ooh.
that are all made of stone.
Do I hear anything?
Make a perception check.
21.
21. So,
Yes.
for one, you're able to find something with Reciphalam, his writing. It is another spell scroll. This one is a scroll of Revivify.
Oh.
Wow.
You
No.
can't use it if you're the one that needs it, though.
No material components needed.
Too little,
Ironic.
too late.
What?
No material components needed.
I'm assuming they all got scrubbed.
That's
into the
just
school.
adding
Can you learn
insult
that?
to injury.
What?
Can you learn that based off of that?
How to make that?
Yeah.
You could certainly try.
Radio scroll.
You know that your tools are not currently sufficient to take down a scroll of that level, but you certainly could try.
This is when we bring my teacher to.
Yep, certainly is. Aside from that, you're able to find a couple of books that kind of confirm what the scroll you found in the private study reflected about the start of the world and the tokens, the titans, and the wheels that turn the world. You are able to gather that it seems to be actual wheels that exist somewhere that are sort of actually physically turning in order to keep the world running as it is, and you see like some theories about what would happen if they stopped. One theory kind of catches your attention that would say like if there is nothing to continue pushing the wheels, as the wheels slow down, they conjecture whether the world itself would fade or whether magic would fade from the world first and then the worlds themselves would fade. That one particularly catches your attention. The last thing that catches your attention is a painting that still sort of hangs on the wall that seems to be sort of sealed in with some sort of magic. It's about 4 feet wide by about 6.5 feet high. And you're able to recognize some of the faces because you just have recently seen them on the roof or on the ceiling rather, of the bathhouse. You are able to see gathered together, not just painted separately, but painted all together, physically interacting with each other in a friendly way as they take a group portrait, is Mistra, Shar, Lolth, the Raven Queen, Salune, and Sehani Moonbow are all sort of just very casually, just like kind of, two of them are like, Lolth is kind of just like sitting and sort of like leaning back into the rest of them. You can see Mistra sort of like casually like hand through Lolth's hair, just sort of like, you can imagine like her ruffling it as someone captured this. But they seem to be sort of amicably with each other, which is what the gods have become, sort of a very odd collection of them, especially when you consider Lolth rules over the chaotic evil plane of the Abyss, and Shar rules over the plane of Carceri, which sits in between chaotic evil and neutral evil.
2 things.
Yes.
One, I would sketch it down. And 2, I would like to possibly take off the frames to roll up the painting to take with us.
It is protected by an arcane nature.
Wait, what if we cast light underneath it and then you like literally like trace over it like a light board?
Woods. Feats.
Well, I can cast dancing lights and have them all spread out.
Well, I'm saying I would not be able to get, or to like do like one page, one portion. You know what I mean?
Well, just
Okay.
get the important
Arcane
ones.
nature.
What?
Arcane nature. I'm assuming this is
Yes.
going to take more than 10 minutes.
Let's just write down
Yes,
my
it
script
seems to be sealed by an arcane in an arcane fashion. To sort of make an Arcana check.
18.
18. As you take a look at it, it seems to be not only to protect it from being stolen, but it seems also to preserve it. You are not sure whether or not the painting would survive the arcane barrier around it being removed.
He would like test like such a shame. Because that would be something he would love to bring back
Yeah.
to the suites and like put on the wall.
22.
You do hear absolutely nothing. You're able to get far enough away from them up there that you kind of focus in, and for the first time in a while, you is like dead silent.
I love that music.
Pick
by
the
way.
one on the left and try and open it.
All right, guess we're drawing new maps tonight since we're splitting the party.
Nothing but on that.
What? No.
Figured.
I'm only like opening the door to see like if there's more to it. If it's like more to it,
I'm assuming
I'm
she's
gonna
just like scouting a little
yeah,
bit.
I'm just gonna close the door and head back. But if
You
the-
opened it up. It is pitch black inside.
Where'd you go? Up or
Oh
down?
shit, you don't have dark
Down.
vision.
No.
It is
Alright.
it is pitch black inside, and you are able to see like from the light from the door. You're able to see like a slight like reflection of something. How long to keep the door open?
Uh-oh. Close it, bitch.
Only
Close
like
it.
5 or so seconds, see if I hear anything.
After about 3 or 4 seconds, you hear a slight rustle come from somewhere in the room.
Close the door.
No.
I'm gonna like try and put some like spare rocks or something in front of the door.
We're
So
library.
if they
You-
open it, it'll like make noise, and then I head back up the stairs.
As you head back up the stairs, you feel like your heart sort of beat once in your chest, a little harder than normal as you kind of stumble. And the image flashes in your mind again, and just a voice calls out to you, just
Toe?
down.
Oh.
And that is it. That's one for the fucking shit that Cass hears, though.
Toe?
Toe!
Is there like a door at the top of the stairs?
No.
Is there like an overturned table nearby?
Maybe. Yeah.
I'm gonna try and like angle that in front of the stairs.
So,
You would have to bring the table like down from the library, down the stairs. in
No,
front of the
like
door.
once I get back up.
like just in front of the stairs.
Oh, yeah, you move them in front of the stairs.
So, there a guy down there?
There a guy down there.
There's something down there.
Oh, I just like that.
Cool! Wanna go eat it?
No, I'd rather
And-
not do that.
Let's save
Why?
that for later.
As you guys continue to walk, it is at this point approaching pretty close to nightfall.
We're gonna go to that other room.
As yes,
Okay, so before we do this thing, at whatever point we do the thing where we check the moonlight in here, I wanted to see if I could study the painting and then pray to Shar and ask her a question. I don't know if she's gonna reply or
study
not.
the painting that's still found.
Yeah.
As you all look at it, the three of you all feel, yes, you, Mistra, you with Salune, and you with Shar, all feel like a sense of just longing that is not your own as you stare at this painting.
Yeah, I'll see if I can, like, pray to her.
What?
Like, do we feel like longing towards us or someone?
They're longing for the past.
Okay.
Kind of, like,
Yeah,
that
you
painting.
feel longing as you look at the painting that is not your own.
I'll see if I, well, I mean, I can pray, it just depends if she replies or not, but I'll be like,
Make a religion check as you pray.
yeah, I'll be like, what happened?
Still, as you kind of walk through the library, you feel an odd feeling as the bow on your back, currently in heart form, begins to vibrate ever so slightly.
I got 23 for religion.
That
And
means
I just
another one is
asked
near.
her what happened. As I specifically, like, look at Lol, who doesn't look like a piece of shit, who looks like a nice lady.
Time and decisions from those stronger than us that forced us to make decisions not our own. Some of us had more resistance than others.
You know they found her, right?
I do. I worry for her. She used to be like a sister to me.
Perhaps she can be your sister again. If I have anything to say about it.
Perhaps. Please do not judge her too harshly for that which she was forced to do.
To be fair, her fanatical followers sort of did most of the work, so maybe I'll judge them a little bit more than her.
Indeed, the Drow are a people misguided.
Well,
Some
for
are too far to be saved, but with the right direction, as a whole, perhaps someone could be the savior of them all. And that's kind of where you feel her presence kind of dip out. There's a definitive sadness in her voice.
Aw. Fennigan's like staring at the painting, his little ears droop.
Because I know, asked a question. So as Bo's thing happened, like he'll like stop, like being the last one to leave the room, and like turn over his shoulder, looking at his Bo's like, no, we are not doing this. We are not doing this now.
You hear a familiar voice in your head of Mistra. It just says, "We do not always get to choose the times at which things happen to us.
No reason to
But
go,
He
nerd.
looks really good.
But your destiny is there to claim nonetheless. Should you choose to have the strength to direct it yourself."
I tried to do the silent glare as best as possible.
So that is all. At this point, it is nighttime. Any more exploring today? You guys will be pushing a level of exhaustion.
No.
Well, we want to look in the.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm gonna rest. Maybe I'll just like sleep in there.
Well, yeah, it's the full moon tonight, so we would have to check that out before we slept. But
I want to get into the room with no handle.
So
I'll force myself to only meditate instead of sleep. Even though I hate it.
I like to off. I forgot about what's underneath your toes sometimes.
A smile.
Smile, alright. Something makes him smile.
No, we'll get
So,
in trouble. Oh wait, that's not mine. That's fine.
I would say Lucian has kind of been a little bit quiet throughout all of this, but as you guys begin to rest, kind of turns to, would any of you mind tomorrow possibly if we descended the stairs in the grand foyer and possibly went to look at the room where my artifact that I was looking for was located?
Sure, I think that's something we should all do together.
Absolutely. I would certainly ask
So,
for your help in doing
safety,
this.
You know, just in case, because since T found some dude downstairs, don't know what's going on.
Yes, I would absolutely love to request your help with all of this. It is why I would not partake this mission on my own.
I only work on commission.
You can become
Meaning co-mission. You're on a mission with me, so it's fine.
Haha.
very well.
Is that the pickup line?
Depends. Did it work?
Yeah, that was good.
Nina probably used a better one.
Valid.
I gay anime villain.
I am certainly intrigued. I'll just kind of walk away, kind of shaking his head.
I would like to point out, since we're going to be taking
A long rest here.
shifts, I like to, during my shift, if you guys found anything, magical items, or with the alcohol themselves, I can identify them and we can figure out if they do anything.
Yeah, I'll ask
Yep,
you to
so you can.
identify that brown and gold potion I got.
Oh, and also if any scrolls or spellbooks you find, I can possibly take down the recipes and mass produce them further down the line.
Mm-hmm.
I found a wizard book. I'll
You-
hold it up.
Do you mind if I take a look at it?
Slam. Just whams it into your hands, not on your head.
Okay.
No, why would I bap you in the head?
Because
Do
it's
you
our...
think it would be worth it to block
No.
the main
Okay.
entrance to get in here, or do you think perhaps the guild
I know
guard
they're
out
used
their
to
way?
I would just drop it in your
Fine,
hands like a
but that
brick.
would also mean that if anything in here is here, they would know that we are here.
what?
Nothing.
Fair.
I didn't say
perhaps
anything.
even just a trip
Is anything
wire or
happening in
something.
that room with the moon?
We have plenty of rope.
no.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Is it not overhead? Like we look up
I don't want to
overhead
go
yet?
alone.
Not completely overhead, no.
The dragon appears.
So, what is y'all's plan for sleeping? Sleeping arrangements?
I'm staying awake until the moon.
Watch arrangements?
I would stay awake just to
Would
see
I know
if
how long
there's.
until the moon?
It's gonna be probably about 3 or 4 hours.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll do my trance, and then once, so,
I'll sleep
4
for like
hours.
3 hours.
and then once the moon is up, I'll be awake.
So, all of you are. Who is staying up to wait for the moon?
I would like do the same thing like Kai, rest for a couple hours and get up around the time when the moon would be overhead.
So-
Try sleep.
I think you-
sleep.
I thought you
then
called me
trance.
parsley.
No,
you went
wait,
parsley,
who's-
loose leaf.
Arwen so far is the only one staying awake.
I'll stay awake for him.
All right,
Yay.
both of you make Constitution saving throws to resist exhaustion.
No.
15.
No.
Or, ooh.
Wouldn't it just count as like first watch?
What?
Wouldn't it just count as like
Constitution.
first watch?
That's
No, because they're being a little bit more
that's a
proactive than
one.
just.
What do you know? Fine.
They're staying up longer than normal. So you suffer 1 point of exhaustion. I will keep track of that. So the moon drifts further and further overhead. All of you, Lucian is fast asleep. Riv is fast asleep. The 5 of you all kind of wake up and are waiting. The moon looks like it might be 15 or 20 minutes away from being completely overhead, and it even looks like it is going to line up with the full moon, like directly over top of the full moon cutout. It's kind of exciting. There's a slight tinge of pink to the moon as well. Everybody make a wisdom saving throw.
Uh-oh, Skitty.
That's good for me.
Okay. Saving throw. Oh dear.
No!
Unnatural 20.
Guess who got the natural?
Hey.
Hey.
That one?
Oh,
Kai?
I don't know. I haven't rolled yet.
Wisdom save.
19.
Plus. Oh shit, I got 19 too.
24.
Other than that, it
24?
would be 61.
So as this happens, you would notice T's eyes kind of like flick up, and she just sort of goes into like a trance.
Oh no.
She just kind of like looks up at the moon, and you can kind of see her pupils fade, and her entire eyes just become like a sort of like pink red entirely, as she just kind of like is staring up directly at that like circle.
Did you start howling?
No,
Uh-oh.
before
Oh, she's gonna play
snapping down and just staring at that door, and you are essentially unconscious.
Great. Love it.
Oh god,
She
I'm
must be
gonna...
Cardell.
Somebody tie her up. What?
Nothing. That joke. That joke. Do those of us that pass it feel anything? Or no?
You feel like a weird sort of feeling in your mind, but that is about it.
You guys, T looks not cool.
Can I look at the phases of the moon on the wall?
You do?
Do they look different from before?
They do not.
Oh, what does Syl find out about my potion? Maybe I can give it to T so she's not crazy for the moon.
Can I like pat her cheeks to see if she wakes up?
She's got the moon.
Oh, that music just took a dark change.
I'm looking for the right one here.
Did it?
I went Castlevania real quick.
No, I was gonna say no. I can't even hear what's playing now. Yep, there's where I want it for right now.
Oh.
So what do you? Yeah, you feel just like a weird feeling and slight tug at your mind.
Can I pat on T's cheeks to see if she responds?
She does not.
What if I like push her? Does she fall
What?
over?
She kind of like tilts back and then sort of comes back to a standing position.
Like
Yes.
a
Is the
weevil.
pink tinge like?
What?
Is the pink tinge like Syl's eyes is?
No.
No, it's only on her.
It is like between red and pink.
Gotcha.
It is like
Ooh.
this color.
I'm gonna turn her away
Like a
from
coral.
the moon.
She's currently staring at that door.
Oh, the door.
No.
I'll cover her eyes.
Cover her eyes and eyes still stay open.
Hey T, go open that door.
Well, is
She
the
does
light
not
fully
respond.
on the door yet, or is it still
Nope.
like creeping up?
It's still
Okay.
creeping up.
I think we have to wait for
As
a little
you-
bit more.
The moon inches a little bit closer. Everyone make another wisdom saving throw.
Chill.
Do I make another one?
Nope.
Great.
Okay.
Wisdom save.
Kai, what'd you roll?
Are you joining me?
Unnatural 20.
Okay.
Are you
Kai.
joining me?
Kai,
I saw that one.
Kai, what'd you roll?
Negative.
Was it a nat one?
Yeah. What am I rolling?
Nice.
16.
19.
I'm so angry right now.
Kai also, you see the eyes flip to red. Stares down where he is, directly at the door. And now the both of them are unresponsive.
I'm gonna not look at the moon.
You turn away from the moon.
Okay.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I'm gonna stop looking at it.
You stop looking at it.
For science.
Sol stays looking at it. It gets a little bit closer at this point. It's only about 10 minutes away. Everyone make another wisdom. You three make another wisdom
Also, it
save.
doesn't matter.
I rolled
Nope.
another one after that and then a 20.
Oh,
That's
thank
no! I thought it was a nat 20
Oh,
for a
thank
second,
God.
but it was next to it, but it's a 14. So that means I got a 17.
18.
15
I have a
plus
feeling I failed it.
5.
7.
So unnatural 20.
Yes.
You watch as both of their eyes go
Oh.
red.
Oh my god, the DC goes up every time.
Yeah.
It does, and they both turn to look at the door. You are the only one left.
Wait, maybe we need to all go
And
into
finally-
the trance.
And finally, you hear Char's voice in your head just go, "This is interesting. What do you plan?" And her voice just cuts out. As she just says, "What are you planning?"
Mom?
As it cuts out,
Oh god.
as you hear another voice. Actually,
Best person to be
you
able to find.
you hear the voice of the figure that was speaking to you when you identified your sword in your head.
Oh, Papa. Okay, he's cool.
As you just hear, all the things in the world, and this is what you wished for?
What?
Is this your wish coming into effect?
What are you talking about? Finally, it's just like,
The moon is almost completely overhead. Make another wisdom saving throw.
I don't know. If
I know what it is.
Did you do this?
Then that's your fault. What's that? That's like a 2.
Yeah.
Oh, it's 6 plus 5.
Excellent.
So
The
that's
DC, excellent. The DC's 25. Did you pass it?
No, I only would have passed that with a nat 20.
It's fine. As the moon moved completely overhead, the DC was being raised to 30. So I don't know if that would have.
I
I don't know if that would have worked very well.
Unless I fucking
Your eyes,
lied.
your eyes also go red, and you turn to there. All of you out of consciousness. as your bodies all in time, if anyone was looking into the room via divine eye, your bodies fall to the ground, limp.
Oh.
Wasted.
TPK
Our
already.
lives
Nope.
wasted.
New record.
Are we being transported somewhere?
Lucian was the bad guy all along. He knew it was gonna happen.
Wait, yeah, I was never.
No, Lucian was asleep for the whole thing.
So he's gonna wake up in the morning to
We
find
should have
dead
river
bodies.
asleep.
Wait, he's not our friend.
It's not.
Not yet. God, now. Oh, I'm also embarrassed because
Thanks,
Shark.
Jen.
that guy seemed to think my wish was lame.
This is where you're gonna cut us off and tell us we have to wait for next week to see what happens.
No.
Nope. We have to get through this week.
Okay.
Oh.
So,
Oh, that's scary horror music.
all of you are able to see through. Oh wait. Is there anything we need to do before we start this? Cool.
Oh, so it's the cat.
No.
All of you are able to see through a consciousness not quite your own. Entry in through the main foyer, past the ballroom, past the bathhouse, into the antechamber, as a pure red moon, dark as blood, shines directly through the central window in the antechamber. The doors, the sealed door, is open. There's nothing there blocking your way. And the conscious eye that you're going through travels through that doorway, up through stairs, and into an open temple. You look around and there's imagery of full moons, crescent moons, all red as blood, stained glass windows. It goes dark as the door closes, trapping you inside. There is an altar. And front, on a raised podium, as the conscious drifts and splits into five separate focal points. All of you are taking 5 sides of a 6-pointed star that the podium sits atop. And there is, on this altar, a basin that is currently red, filled with a red liquid. Well, it's a gold basin, red liquid. In front of each of you, in 5 separate places on the podium, there's a small knife. And all of you see the consciousness that you are seeing through blink. Blink again, blink a third time, and suddenly you're standing there in your own bodies. In this temple. In the temple of the Blood Moon. You all sort of look across this at each other, each occupying a point. You find your legs and feet unwilling to move as you are stuck in this place.
Still didn't hear that voice, that's all I'm saying. Stop.
There is a calling in each of your heads. It is a desire to pick up to the knife. It is a call for blood. Yours. What will you all do?
Can I don't know, am I even in like the right state of mind where I could do like some sort of like religion or arcana check to see like what would be the right course of action?
No.
Can I try and like look around? Like,
You do.
Look away?
You are able, as you kind of survey your surroundings, you are in a very dimly lit room. There is imagery of 6-pointed stars, of a symbol of a crescent moon over top and a full moon underneath it. There's imagery of a crescent moon facing this way, red as blood, with a red as blood full moon, and then a crescent moon the opposite way, all of it red.
If I
Oh,
try
sorry.
and like back up, can I?
You find your legs and feet unwilling to move.
We have our bags.
You do not. You have,
Move our arms?
you have nothing on you. Yes, as you try to move your arms and hands, you're able to see, like, move them.
Point of the star that there's nobody at one of the points.
Correct. The bottom point there is no one at.
Is there a knife there though?
There's not.
It was supposed to be illusion. I guarantee it.
Can I, oh, sorry, go ahead.
And so we all just want to bleed right now, right?
There you feel a calling from the knife to be picked up and a calling from the cauldron for blood.
cauldron for
is it
blood.
filled currently or is nothing?
There's still some things in it, yes.
I'll pick up the knife.
You pick up the knife.
Can I try to press the digitize the gross stuff out
Bloody
of
hell,
that?
I do it.
You find
Or magic not
you
work?
you try to lean on the magic within you, and you find both your connection to Shar currently and your connection to the arcane completely severed.
Can I throw the knife at the empty space?
You go to try and throw the knife, and the knife is unwilling to leave your hand once you pick it up.
I'll look at it and be like, what do you want? Why?
You feel a call for blood.
I'm
So,
trying to
Bloody hell, I do it.
you pick up the knife,
All
and
stay together.
what part? Where do you cut?
Just
Across the palm? And do you bleed into the bowl?
I do.
As you do, you feel an intense sensation just rack your body and sort of paralyze you as soon as the blood hits. And as you drop the knife drops, and as soon as it hits the ground, just shatters and disappears.
I'll follow suit.
Kai also cuts, bleeds, you feel same sort of intense feeling
Got your back.
as your knife drops and shatters.
Can I spit into it instead?
Ew.
It's simple, yes or no.
No.
Okay.
T would just be like her normal self of like, I ain't fucking doing it. I ain't fucking. God damn it, Sil.
Bleed into it, you are racked with a feeling of just not necessarily pain, just intense sensations. Your body paralyzes, your knife drops and shatters.
I'm gonna try to resist it because I'm thinking maybe if this has to do with the moon, if we can wait out the moon passing overhead, then maybe like this can be over.
The feeling simply gets more and more intense as you wait.
I'm assuming I'm gonna probably have to make rolls for this soon to resist.
Eventually, yes.
I'm gonna try to resist as long as I can. I don't know why this doesn't seem right. It seems like we're gonna like tricked into some sort of spell. So he's gonna try to resist it as long as he can.
Sometimes just gotta go with the flow.
I'm not here to be randomly inducted into a cult I've never heard of.
Unless
He's back up, the guy.
Can I talk to him? Like, I don't want to hear any of you bitching about me making bad decisions ever again.
This is all your fault.
You go to speak and you find yourself mute.
Tell just instead.
Sure. Both of you make a wisdom saving throw.
Ugh.
Aw, 7. I won't even bother. I'll just prick one
That's
finger and put
10.
one drop in.
10.
Yeah.
Both of you feel the call getting more and more intense and find your body almost unwillingly begin to...
Let's go, Maddie.
What do you do?
I just prick my finger and I drop
One
one.
of
Yeah, I was
us.
gonna say,
One of us.
I'm at least gonna be difficult about it and like cut my finger so it takes a while.
Oh my god.
You drip your blood, and as you prick your finger, there is a surprising amount of blood coming out of your fingers as it jettisons into the bowl. As both of you do it, the bowl fills to the top and begins to overflow as all of you are racked with an intense sort of feeling. You can feel almost,
Like the blood rushing out of our bodies.
not necessarily the blood rushing out of your bodies, it's just a feeling that paralyzes you. As all of you feel an intense pressure. So where is your tattoo for,
Well, she would have placed it on me.
No, not what I mean. The
Oh,
tattoo
I'm
that you
sorry.
got willingly.
It's between the shoulder blades, like base of the neck down to about like bottom of the shoulder blades.
Got you. Above that, and for everybody else, in the general like neck region, like right about here.
Like the base of the spine.
Yes. You all feel a very. That's not where a tramp stamp is.
I heard it was like base of the spine.
No, top
so
of
I was
here.
confused.
Like neck. Sorry.
Other
Yeah, base of the neck.
Other
You all feel a very intense pressure sort of burning into you from there that would cause you to yelp out in pain were it not for the muteness.
Mhm.
As all of you receive a very unique tattoo that matches. And I
Sorry.
do have an image of this thing.
I know your wish too. If it says friends, I'm killing
Nope.
you.
I can show you the image real quick. I'll show all of you in order. So that is the image.
Ooh, pity.
Uh-huh.
I pass it?
Oh, I like that. That's pretty.
So this, yeah, that.
I
If I bring
mean,
it over here.
Fendian probably
What's
won't
that
like
called
it.
again? That thing I drew you on.
Can I
Yes.
show the camera?
Yes. It is simply the. It is like the witch's sigil. And there is one more tattoo that you all receive as well. As you all kind of like turn, your hand sort of brings up and turns, and on the inside of your wrist, right about here, you receive a black hourglass with a large amount of red sand filling the top of the hourglass.
Oh no.
In the middle of the hourglass, where the top meets the bottom and they sort of connect to the very thin tunnel point, a band goes around all of your wrists, and you see 4 blobs beginning to coalesce along the right side of this, sort of as almost like charms on a bracelet.
Like one for each other.
As that happens,
Friendship bracelet forever.
Sorry, I'm enjoying this now.
yes,
I don't know how long.
as that happens, before you can make out the clear images of what they are, you all feel your vision just clouding and clouding and clouding and clouding and clouding before finally everything just sort of fades and you feel yourself falling and falling and falling.
I know your wish. I'm gonna have a long talk with you.
So,
If you die, I die. I didn't want a tattoo.
so,
Stop. Look at me.
you feel nothingness. No dreams come to you in your sleep. Until suddenly you're able to slowly blink your eyes and you are woken up by the light of morning, the light of the sun shining its way through these stained glass windows. Lucian and River still asleep. But you hear, for some of you, some familiar voices. You hear the voice of Mistra. I don't understand how this could have even happened. This was not exactly something meant to be replicated. You hear after her a familiar voice to you of Salune. Just, I know it was not meant to be replicated, but it seems something happened that allowed them access to it all the same. How else could they have been indoctrinated into this? A third voice, this one familiar to you, Shar.
Wait, we're all hearing
the
all these
whole
voices?
Yes, as you wake up, you are hearing these voices debate over top of your bodies as you all are like starting to come to consciousness. You hear the voice of Shar just,
Oh god, I hope she doesn't rat me out.
I knew that this one would be able to access some incredible things, and it is why I granted him with power, but to do this, what is he planning? Honestly, it is
Can I answer?
a wild card to an extreme extent that I don't know if they're going to be able to survive long enough just based on their own things they do to destroy themselves, honestly. Well, the voice of Mistra once more. I suppose all we can do now is guide them from our spots among the heavens the best we can and deal with the consequences of them indoctrinating themselves and quite possibly the others that we have overseen them being close with to this family and this prophecy of ours. I suppose we'll need to get the others as well. And the presences fade from above you. And so, as all of you, thanks to Fen's wish, have done something that I completely did not expect for you to discover ever, let alone this early in the campaign, I would like to welcome all of you as members to the Coven of the Blood Moon.
This is so cool. I
Can I
love
do
it.
something physical to Fen without actually hurting him?
And before anyone can fully wake up, that is where we'll end tonight's session. We'll
Okay.
pick up from here next week.
This is so
'Cause
sick.
I know as soon as they wake up, Sil's just gonna tackle Fen as they roll across the yard like you're a goddamn leash on a shooting
Yeah,
star.
you don't know what it was. You don't know how it happened. You don't know what it was.
You guys,
You just know that she's like, oh,
we have a
Yeah,
club.
so we go
A
wish
coven,
for each other.
specifically.
Yeah, well,
I
Coven.
wish to myself. I didn't say it out loud.
What?
Yeah, we don't actually know that it was Fendian. What? Do we know what that is?
Just by-
Are we-
I
What,
know
the
it's
Coven
a
of the
shooting
Blood Moon?
star.
It
You have
sounds like-
absolutely no fucking idea.
It sounds like we're gonna do magic, and now we're
You don't-
all bleeding
In
from our
character,
eyes.
you don't even know
What that is.
what it is yet. I can give you the details of what happens if all of you promise not to metagame it.
I promise.
Sure.
I promise. I need to know.
So-
We could
The-
look in the library of
the-
this place.
The hourglass tattoo on the wrist if one of you dies, now it starts making death saves, but dies, all of you, for one, I'm going to need all of you to design your own charm that will appear on everyone else's bracelet. Then you will have Arwen's charm, Kai's charm, T's charm, and Syl's charm on it, and so forth. It's essentially you'll have every charm on it but your own charm. If one of you dies, that charm will turn black and begin to disintegrate off of the tattoo. When that happens, the hourglass will begin to empty over the course of 48 hours. If that person remains dead at the end of 48 hours, and the hourglass empties, you will all be transported to the physical location of that person on the material plane, whatever plane they happen to be on. That person will be resurrected for a brief moment, and as all of you spend one final moment in consciousness, all of your souls will thereby be ripped from your bodies, and you will be forever bound to the fortress of memories of the Raven Queen.
It's the best friends forever.
I'm gonna murder you.
I don't know what that means, but it feels so good.
You're essentially bound.
We'll all die if someone doesn't come back from the dead within 48 hours.
You are essentially all bound to live and die forever. And the Fortress of Memories is the Raven Queen's home in the plane of Pandemonium. And so you'll essentially be bound to a god's plane. Your soul's stuck there forever and ever and ever to be best friends, because that is what Fen wished for.
I guess Fen's the one that's most fucked, because you would have outlived all of us.
That's okay, at least we're
no more!
Oh, that's the other thing. So as far as dying of old age goes, that now works to the highest common denominator. So Fen, Drow lives to be about 750 years. So all of you now can have a life expectancy of about 750 years.
I don't want to outlive my
You want to be the same and your daughter's like 80?
Oh, that is the one thing that you do not have to worry about. Since this was a thing kind of designed by gods, whatever form you're in now, you're kind of not going to physically look older again ever. To kind of stuck there. Let's say, Kai, fuck you. Wait.
He's really gonna do that. It's okay, it's beautiful for the rest of his life.
Both of you to assume you aren't going to drag all of your other friends into this bullshit over time.
Oh, fuck. Alright. Just cut your hand a little bit, it'll be fine.
Welcome to our club. Welcome, Squidward.
We'll wait a couple of years.
Welcome, Lily.
All I'm gonna say is this just sounds nothing but good to me.
That said,
the fucking souls getting ripped out part.
That said,
would Rick live to like 1,000 then, because she's a dragon?
Riv's not in
you have
it.
no idea.
Oh no!
I will say if you manage to indoctrinate Riv, that would go from about 750 years to probably somewhere in the realm of between 4,000 and 5,000.
Oh no!
I don't know if I want to live that long.
Oh, I do. It looks like a dream.
Oh man, I can't believe you fucking wished for this. I can't believe I had to fucking design this.
Okay,
This is some absolute bullshit.
I wished for something so innocent. You decided to make it this fucking cool.
It is whatever.
It's like a genius. You have to be specific.
We're going to deal with the bullshit consequences of your goddamn actions from this next week. But until then, I'd like to thank. I mean, if one of you die, you better be damn sure that somebody has some motherfucking diamonds.
We'll just melt his flute.
I do.
I also have diamonds.
I was to say, well, you better wish that you don't run out of diamonds, because if you do, there's going to be some problems.
No promises.
But anyway, thank you all for watching, for sticking with us through our shenanigans. We love you all, and we appreciate you all. And until next time, we've been the Unlucky Few. Bye!
Bye.
Don't forget your cleats.
If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. We'll be live streaming starting November 9th at twitch.tv/TUFDND. If you want more content or updates from us, feel free to follow us at Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram, all at TUFDND. Links in the description below. But from all of us here at The Unlucky Few, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.